Welcome into the Cam and Strick Podcast, episode number 274, baby. Fueled by First Form.
Yeah. What
You
up?
sound very echoey.
I do.
Well, a little bit. You sound a little bit echoey where you're at right now.
I don't. You sound good, man. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. I'm with the Shite Kickers. I got a nice fucking room, man. It was a travel day from hell from the beginning. We're supposed to do this early today, but we got an ice storm. We're supposed to have another a pod earlier today. We're gonna have another canceled. I drove all the way to the studio. We got guys couldn't get into the studio. I had to drive all the way back, get on a plane, and then finally we were delayed on the tarmac, Andy, for like 2.5 hours because of ice. Something froze up on the plane, and so it's just been a long day. I'm okay now. I got my beer, which is kind of goofy looking. I don't know what the fuck it is. I ordered some room service. I got some wine coming. It's going to cost me about $300, but I don't give a shit because I'm with you right now, baby. Let's go.
This is like your worst nightmare, dude. I know how you are in these situations. First off, you don't like having to wait. You don't like having to drive somewhere and then all of a sudden have to turn around. And I could only imagine how impatient you were sitting on that plane for 2.5 hours, dude. So are you okay right now? And then after all this, Cam's like blaming me for this weather, for this ice storm that's happening right now.
I didn't mean to. I blame Mother Nature, and we were due to get rocked in St. Louis, and we did, and it fucked a lot of stuff up. And there's all kinds of different videos around, like on the news stations everywhere, of a fire truck spinning around and lost control. People are just, a half an inch of ice in St. Louis, man. People fucking fly all over the place. But I will give MoDOT, Missouri Department of Transportation, I'll give them a shout out because they did a pretty damn good job this morning. So it's all good, man. I'm fine, Andy. I got my beer. I'm good to go. It was just it was a long day. I don't mean to bullshit you. I don't mean to blame it on you. I'll yell at somebody later on tonight, but I'm good to go, man.
Well, Cam's giving MoDOT shout outs, which is good. It's been a very tough day for a number of people, Cam, including myself. And it's been hard to focus today because of so much of my attention and my focus today being on Caitlin Clark and just hoping that she's okay. No, I'm serious, dude. I am thinking about her. She took a major collision on the court last night, on the floor, we should call it. She's just walking off the court. Ohio State upset Iowa, and Caitlin Clark, one of the greatest players in our game right now that we have, Cam, goes down. And I got to tell you, when I saw her go down, I was thinking the worst, man. I didn't know how bad it was. I didn't know, if she was going to be able to be okay, if she was going to recover. And it sounds like she just got the wind knocked out of her. And she's going to be okay. So that's great news. And I've been able to take a deep breath and relax knowing that Caitlin's going to be okay.
So this whole day was been hell. And then you start off with this bullshit. Don't waste my time with this shit. That was you know what? Fine. Caitlin Clark, like, I respect the hell out of her, but that was weak, dude. You know what she's doing. She's pissed off in the moment. She's jogging off when everybody's coming on. She's the one that actually ran into the fan. Then she falls down like, oh God. Ugh. And then the coach comes out like, things need to change. No, just fucking walk off the fucking court. Calm down. You lost the game. You're okay. You barely even bumped into her. You're making Andy cry, but good God.
Well, she's about to become the all-time leading scorer in the history of Division I women's basketball. She'll be the number 1 overall pick in our draft coming up. Is your room service here?
Sorry about that. Come on in. Sorry about that, sir. It's been a long.
Can I come in, sir?
I thought I had the red wine, but that's okay.
Blanc?
Yeah, I had the red.
The white
Australian. Yeah, is that cool?
Cabernet Sauvignon?
Yeah. I had the Australian, the first one.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I'll take that salad too. Perfect. Yeah, you put it right there. Sorry about that.
I'll get back with your Cabernet.
Cool. Thank you very much. I'll keep this right here. Look at that, Andy. Look at that.
Yeah,
I got fish tacos.
Ooh.
Fish tacos. I got a Caesar salad, but they gave me white wine, and I don't like white wine. So I asked for the red wine, so they're gonna go get another one.
Australian
All good,
wine.
baby.
I'm not familiar. I'm a wine connoisseur, and we'll get back to Caitlin, but I'm a wine connoisseur. Australian wine, not very familiar with it.
It's all good. It's all the red Pinot, red wine's pretty. I like it. It's light. I like Pinot Noir. It's light wine. That's my jam. Any cab's good too. Any blend, I'll take.
Go ahead and eat.
Listen, Andy.
During the show, dude, you're hungry.
No. I don't do that bullshit. I'll drink anything right now. After today, I'll drink anything. Doesn't matter. But if he's gonna go get it, you might as well just have him go get it. So.
Well, considering
good,
we're doing this tonight at like 10 p.m. or whatever, I mean, I am having my nightcap. I got to let the people know that I am. Listen, we're at home. We're in the studio. I should give a little tour of the studio, Cam, if you have time for that. I don't know how much time you have right now, but wouldn't mind to give a tour.
Don't waste my time.
Tour of the house. I got a lot of stuff going on here right now. So anyway, getting back to Caitlin, she just got the wind knocked out of her. It was very serious. Do you know that she's making over $800,000 right now in NIL money?
Yeah. A lot of people watched that last game against her in the LSU women's college basketball. Why the fuck we're talking about this, I don't know, but it's all good. She got a lot of attention. The ratings for that game were through the roof. And you know what? If I'm Caitlin Clark, I want to try to play college basketball as long as I can because going to the WNBA, I think you're making more money in college.
Okay, so listen to this because I've been on a couple of WNBA chats today just trying to figure out exactly what's going on. So she's making over $800,000 in NIL money. Do you know that that's like 8 times the amount she'll make in WNBA salaries next year? And I mean this now that they have the NIL money. Like, dude, the WNBA is gonna have to like
turn that off.
Figure this shit out. Well,
turn that off.
I'm in the office, dude. I'm in the office.
Turn it off. You know why? You know why she's making more money in college? Why do you think? Because they bring in more money
than the WNBA. Can you believe that? College basketball.
Yeah, of course I can. Hey, did you see the guy that goes to the WNBA games and takes a blanket and buys the first front row 4 seats? And he goes in there and he's got a nightcap on. And at first he's just like, hi. Then he sits there and he starts putting his blanket a little bit more. Then he starts slouching, Andy. Then he starts slouching more. Then he starts falling asleep.
No.
He falls, I swear to God, he trolls every WNBA team. He falls asleep like this, like passed out. And he'll get up like, oh. And he'll turn around and like to the 2 fans that are right there with their masks on. He'll be like, no offense on the mask. Sorry about that. But they're usually there. And he'll be like, hey, can you guys keep it down? And he'll start sleeping again. It's the funniest thing in the world, man. He got booted out. He's not allowed to at any WNBA game.
Dude, I wouldn't let him in either. And those girls will probably kick his ass too. You know that, dude. Some of those girls.
Oh, I know.
Some of those girls can handle him, dude. And you know the answer to that. Well, I'm surprised that he would do that, man. That he would just disrespect her in our game like that. But Caitlin, dude, look, can I just say this, and I'll put a bow on this story.
Please put a bow on it because you're annoying everybody.
Well, the girl that she ran into, dude, she popped right back up. I mean, she took the brunt of it. I thought Caitlin extended her arms a little bit. And I listen, I'm not going to chirp Caitlin because of, you know, how great she is and everything. Cam, where'd you go again?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hey, you gotta stop leaving the microphone here, okay?
No, I got you, man. You could listen to me right now. Sorry, I'm doing a pod. Sorry about that, sir. Thank you so much. See ya.
Bring him in.
Who cares, man? Keep this in. Who cares? We're not deleting anything.
Hey,
I will say that. Who gives a shit about Caitlin Clark?
Let me just say this. Let me just finish this real quick. The girl,
wrap it up.
She popped right back up. Caitlin said she had the wind knocked out of her, but I feel like this is a little bit of like a LeBron acting job, and I'm not so sure I'm buying her story. I feel like she was upset that they lost because they don't ever lose. They're like the greatest team in college basketball, and they just lost to.
Besides LSU last year.
Is LSU ranked number 1? Because Iowa's ranked number 1. They have to be.
Well, they were last year.
Well, that was last year. It's a new year. It's a new year.
Well, why are we talking about
Well, because this is the biggest story in sports right now that she went down.
No, it's not.
She went down post-game last night. So, but I
think
there was some LeBron. I saw some LeBron in her, man. I want to see some LeBron in her on the court, not with the flopping. Caitlin, you got to get up. That other girl, man, I'd be recruiting her ass, man, wherever she's at. What are you?
Yeah, well,
what are
you know what?
What are you doing, dude?
I put salt in my beer.
Is that what you
I
do?
got this weird, goofy Canadian beer right there, right here, and then and it's okay, but I need a little salt in that mug. You know what I mean? Hey, can I also say a couple other things, Andy?
Right.
Let's get away from the
right on, eh?
Right on there, man. We had a Blues fantasy camp this weekend.
Oh my god!
So
yes.
It's a 3-day ordeal. They pay me to go do this and then go afterwards and do this. So I get paid like 10 different ways to do different things. It's a long weekend. It's always fun. And I went there and I walk in. I say, hey, everybody. I get my team. I'm hanging out with the firemen. The fire team drafted me and whatnot. And I'm supposed to go on stage with Twister, Tony Twist that night, and Timmy Peel and guys like that. And I played the game, and I felt goofy all day, Andy. Even my radio show in the morning, I felt kind of odd. I never get sick. I know what dope sick is. I know what hungover is. This was different. And I remember feeling goofy, and I wasn't hungry all day. And I remember getting there with Kate, and I walk in, I'm saying, hey, and I'm like, fuck, I don't fucking feel good. I'm telling Kate, I'm like, I don't feel right. It was weird. And I get on the ice, and I am just, whoa, I turn pale. Everybody's like, dude, you okay? I go in the locker room. Everybody's like, where's Cam? Can he come out and do this? I'm like, rawr, rawr, rawr. I puked everywhere, all over the sink, everywhere. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I am pale white. So I had to clean it up. And everybody's like, Jesus, you okay? I'm like, and then I'm like, I can't go on anymore. Kate had to drive me all the way home. I'm puking on the side of the road. It was the weirdest thing. It lasted for about 4 hours. 4-hour bug. And then everybody's like, where's Cam? Well, then they're like, oh, he was probably drinking too much. I'm thinking, motherfucker, if you know me, it would take me 3 days of hardcore Everclear to get this drunk. I got the flu. It was a 4-hour flu. It rocked me, Andy. I haven't got sick like that in 10 years since I was dope sick. And that's what it felt like, man, for 4 fucking hours. And I was fine. So I missed the next day. I missed out on a bunch of shit. But I went there the third day, and it was all good. But I got sick for the first time in a fucking decade, man. And then it made me worry that I was going to do that. Imagine I did that. Imagine I'm flying on a jet with the Blues. I finally come up to Calgary. I'm traveling for a week with the guys. Imagine I come on the fucking plane, and that happened to me on the plane. Everybody'd be like, whoa, get this motherfucker out of here. Get this bacteria-filled motherfucker out of here. So it worked out the way it did, but it was embarrassing. And I just had a whirlwind. I had a whirlwind, and I don't mean to be in a cranky mood. I feel better now, man. I got my Canadian beer there. I'm in lovely Calgary. I got an awesome view. I got some good food right here. I got some wine. My mind's right a little bit, and I'm good, man. I'm good to go. Just as long as you don't talk about fucking WNBA, just lay off the WNBA shit, because you're teeing me up. No. You're teeing me up to say something stupid, and I know we don't have time to edit it, so just don't do that, please. Yeah. Help me out. Be a good teammate with me.
Well,
don't put me in a jam. Don't put me in a jam.
I'm starting a hashtag. Pray for Caitlin, dude. Pray for Caitlin.
Another thing.
And I'm thinking,
another thing too.
Listen, can I tell you this though? And I got to let you know, because you are with the Blues this week. You're representing the brand, dude. You're representing me. You have to make sure that you can't be doing anything crazy this week. I'm just trying to let you know. Be on time.
I'm representing you.
Be on time.
Did you play? Be on time. Be on time. Get out of here.
Hey.
I'm representing Andy.
Be on time. Make sure you do a good job.
No, they're all good. They're awesome, man. Everybody's so. My phone didn't fucking work, right when I land. I didn't have the international plan.
Jesus.
I forgot. So I land. I couldn't text Andy. So we're trying to get this thing organized, man. It was all fucked up all day. We got to get this damn thing done. I know you guys want to listen to this pod. We got Brian Boucher coming out here. And so I couldn't even get a hold of Andy. My phone, I couldn't do shit. And so I was locked out. And so I got to the hotel room where there was Wi-Fi. But it's all good, man. I don't have a hat on today. I feel kind of sexy a little bit. You can see my bald spot there. You can see it there,
Mm-hmm.
It's there, the cul-de-sac. Yeah. But right here looks okay,
Yeah, right there. Well, you got to make sure you keep that angle. You look a little like, you look boxy right now. You look boxy. I don't know what it is.
Oh, damn. What is the fuck?
Hey, listen, I will say the other day I saw you down at the rink. I was working. Cam's down there about to play grab ass fantasy camp. Which, listen, I met a bunch of those guys down there too. They all have a blast, man. It's awesome. The Blues continue to do that. It's very important for the fans, man, that the fans get to mingle with people, and they did it this year down at the Enterprise Center. But I see Cam. He gives me this like big old like embrace, you know. He starts like he gives me this like a big hug, you know, when he sees me, and then he tells me how sick he is. He's like, "Dude, I have the flu." I'm like, so ever since then, I want to let you know.
No, I
I've
didn't.
been feeling a little bit flushed.
No, I didn't. You're lying.
No, that's what happened.
Dude, I didn't know I had it then. No. I would never be down there if that. No. Dude, I would never be down there if I knew that was
the day you came back. The day you came back.
It didn't hit me yet. I felt it. Yeah. Oh. No, wait.
Yeah, you're like, I just
That
had the
was
flu
Saturday.
for the last
That's
2
2
days.
days.
I'm like,
Okay.
oh my God, dude, get away from me.
No.
Because you look
Yeah,
pale,
all right,
and
that's my bad.
you were sweating, and you look pale, and I haven't felt the same since then, you know, so.
You know how many times you got me sick, dude? You know how many times you got me? I don't have kids. I'm sheltered out where I live. You're around kids left and right. You're touching bacteria. Kids are touching you in the face. You're around people all the time. Andy doesn't turn down anything if they're like, hey, you got to come to this. He's there. He's talking to people. And then he comes to the fucking Half Coast Studios, and he's all over me. I get the bacteria from Andy. So finally, maybe I spread it to you one time. But, man, I knew I was fine by then, and I had to go that last day, dude. People were counting on it, and I felt fine, and it was all good. But, man, getting sick sucks. And especially when you haven't got sick in a decade, dude. And so it was a weird one for me, man. I'm usually fucking rock solid.
Did you take a test?
No, dude.
No?
I'm not taking
Well,
it.
I'm just
Yeah,
I'm asking. I'm asking if you took a test.
No. It wasn't COVID.
Because it might be a blessing in disguise that we're doing this virtually tonight, that you're in Alberta with my people. A lot of people.
Calgary.
Yeah, well, it's Alberta. Alberta beef, baby.
Calgary.
So it's probably a blessing in disguise. I think the higher powers, man, are realizing that I shouldn't be near you because you are contagious and you are very sick. And I'd like you to take a test, dude, especially since you're in Canada, dude. I'm surprised they let you in the country with your condition.
Well, I was supposed to come up to Canada like 3-4 years ago, right? Right when COVID happened, to do Shoresy, you know, the spinoff to Letterkenny.
Yeah.
So the producer called me up with John Moraski's up there, Terry Ryan, our boy, a bunch of other shit kickers are up there too. And I was supposed to do it, but I go, I can't get through the country. And I wasn't vaccinated. And I'm like, and at that point I already had COVID and I didn't want to get the vaccine, which is fine. Not saying that you should, not making a political statement on that, but I just made the decision not to. And then I couldn't go up there. And of course, a couple of years later, you're able to do it. They opened the border up. But no, it's nice to come up here, man. It's good to be back in Canada. I had to bring a ton of chew, by the way, because I'm certainly not buying a chew here because you get this for like $20 and it's like half the size. Maybe that's changed. I haven't been up here in like 6 years, but I loaded up and I'm good to go, man. I'm in a good mood.
Well, now you are.
I feel like I'm home again. I used to live up here, Andy. They treated me great when I lived in Canada. The Canadian people treated me great. And a bunch of fans are texting me during the plane ride. And I told them I'm up in Calgary. They're like, God damn. I'm like, what's up then? They're like, can I meet? Let's meet. I'm like, I gotta do shit with Andy.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. So I got business, man.
I'd like you to get a test taken, dude, just so we know.
All right, I'll do it.
Can you do it live on the show? Can you do it on the show? You have one with you?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the front desk has plenty.
I carry COVID tests everywhere. I carry them everywhere, Andy.
Hey, what do you think of Terry?
I'm gonna get another.
What do you think of Terry Ryan? By the way, man, that dude, 47
He's an
years
awesome
old.
dude.
47 years old. Like, is that a situation where it's like it's in his hometown? Like he's there. They need somebody. They call him.
Yeah.
Or was it like a promotional? Because they got a shit ton of exposure because of it. So if it was promotional, man, I wouldn't chirp that, man, because it worked. It's like a lot of these. Let me tell you something. All these East Coast League teams, these teams in the minor leagues, you got to be creative, man. You want to get some attention for your organization.
Yes.
And you want to get people to like
You're
pay
right, Andy.
attention to you. Like winning 4-3 on a Friday night, that ain't doing it, man. You better get like an old school, celebrity to come on and put the pads on, and then they drop the gloves and they fight. That's how you get attention, man, and make money.
No, I agree with that. And I think it may be a little bit of both. He's an awesome guy. He actually messaged me. He said, "Hey, big fan of everything. You know, he's cool. He's old school. He's a kind of guy that I probably, if we played together, we'd be like hanging out together all the time. I could always tell, and I could always tell with the hockey players too. When you connect with other people and everybody talks about one person, I just know when a guy's a really, really good dude, and he's certainly in that category. So we're gonna give him a little shout out, man. That was cool as hell. I love seeing that. 47 years old. My God Almighty. Good for you, dude. He was cruising around as well. And yeah, they did get a lot of attention. I like that. I like that a lot. That was fun.
So it was a smart move to sign this guy. And they should sign him for the rest of the year, really. Although he doesn't need to be fighting at that age, you know, like he doesn't need to be doing that. But, you know, like, hey, the adrenaline takes over, man. The moment takes over. That was the best thing he could have done, too, man, you know?
Yeah, stick up for your teammate. Somebody got rocked and he stuck up for him. So that was
cool. You know, he was a stud back in the day in junior. You see his numbers?
Oh, he was a first round pick to Montreal. I think he was a first rounder. I think he was like fucking in the teens. You know, to Montreal, which is pretty cool. I don't know how many games he played in the show, but but yeah, man, he's cool as hell.
Yeah, he's funny, man. I gotta double check that because I should know. I'm sure he was a first rounder. When you look at the numbers he put up, man, Tri-Cities, I believe.
Yeah, he dominated. He dominated juniors big time. I heard stories about him a long time ago, starting from a long time ago. You know what I mean? But yeah, a lot of hockey coming up here.
Dude, he was eighth.
Excited about
he was
watching some
eighth
games.
Overall, 95. That would have been close to my draft, actually, close to there.
Yeah. Are you 45? Yeah.
It would have been close.
You're 45 years old?
There. Yeah, it would have been close.
I'm surprised. But you got drafted. So you got drafted in 97?
Yeah. Like second round, I think.
By Boston?
The Boston Pride.
You know, when I got drafted and I signed my second contract, which was 3 years guaranteed for like $1.75 million, which is at the time when you come from nothing. It was like, you're a billionaire. And I remember my buddies acting like they signed too. You know what I mean? Like bragging at the bar. I think you'd be one of those guys too. You know what I mean? You'd be like, I got signed as well. I'm part of the team. I remember my buddies too. Some of them would wear suits to our games. So when we go out afterwards, the girls would think they were part of the team because they had suits on. I mean, it's pretty embarrassing, but it worked. It was all good.
That's a good move. That's a good move. I like that.
I could see you doing that.
Well, you know what?
What the fuck is this?
True story. You know,
here.
What is that? You're crushing those things. They must be pretty good.
Oh, I'm fucking stressed out.
Is that wallpaper?
Stressed
or
out.
Is that,
you got notes down?
Is that wallpaper or brick behind you?
Dude, it looks like 90s Lake of the Ozarks Formula boat decal. If you know, you know.
You know, Stricky doesn't do notes. You know that.
Well, let's get going here. Got anything going? You're starting slow here. You want me to take over?
Listen,
let's go.
We're doing this late at night. You know what I'm saying? So you're getting the chill mode. You're getting the chill mode of
let's get going a little bit.
Of Stricky today.
Well, you're lucky I'm awake. I'm usually downtown Chinatown by now.
You gonna make it?
I'm good, baby. I'm waiting on you to get this thing rolling. Let's go.
Hashtag pray for Caitlin.
Yeah. She looked embarrassing in that situation. It was. Like, oh, Jesus, just get up. You're okay. I did watch a lot of football too, man. I like Jason Kelsey, dude. He's cool as shit. Like, he's like doing his thing. He's crushing beers. He's got no shirt on. He's hanging out with fans. He's hanging out with Buffalo Bill fans before the game started. Like, he's taking kids and he's lifting them up and showing them to Taylor Swift. I kind of like all that, man. I know people are bashing. And Taylor can maybe be annoying with here and there. I guess I get that. But Jason Kelsey seems like just the fucking coolest cat in the world. And just how he interacts with the fans is something I think I would do. I'd be like, what's up? I'll jump on that thing, hang out, like a barbecue with them beforehand. Like, I like doing that kind of stuff. So I like that Jason Kelsey, man. It'd be cool to get him on.
Dude, he's cool as shit. And he's a man of the people. And even if you're like a Buffalo fan, and he's there supporting his brother, man, they all know that. And of course, me being from Buffalo, I know how our people would treat him and accept him and embrace him, at the at the barbecue pit and whatnot, but he's kind of built like you, like today, and the Cam Jansen version of today versus the Cam. Is that how offensive linemen look? Like, I mean, some of those guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how they look, dude. They're big. And listen, that's why when they retire, you're like, you see them, you're like, geez, are you okay?
Why? Because
like,
they
no,
shrink.
I had to keep eating. Well, yeah. I mean, they're eating nonstop like a sumo wrestler to keep that weight on. So once they stop, they get skinny, like really weird looking. And you're like, that's not you. Oh, that is you. That's like I'm eating normal now. These guys eat like a sumo wrestlers. They got to keep that fucking weight.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if they eat that much when they're offensive linemen. I mean, they probably do, but I mean,
Okay. Okay. Well, then they probably do. Like, what? You don't even know what you're saying sometimes. But I will say this: the worst position in all of sports, in my opinion, not all sports, but the four major sports, I guess, would be an offensive lineman. Like, okay, right? Like, you don't have any freedom to do much. You're always sitting there, you huddle down, you just bam, bam, bam the whole time. You push, fall. Push, fall. Push, fall. Maybe there's a fumble and you got to recover it. Maybe there's something where you have a big block, but it doesn't seem fun. Like, if you play hockey, you have freedom to skate around, do whatever you want. Maybe I'll fight the shit. Maybe I'll get the puck and spin off a guy and keep it and hold it and do this and do that. Maybe I'm going to catch somebody with their head down. But when you're an offensive lineman, it's like you do one thing and one thing only. I'm going this way, pop. Next step. This way, pop. It's like, man, it gets redundant. You make a lot of money. It's hard on your body, but it doesn't seem like the most fun position in sports.
Listen, some of my closest friends in the locker room, Cam, were offensive linemen. And I love those guys, man.
You tie everything to yourself.
I love those guys.
You tie, doesn't Andy, no matter what, I could talk about anything. I could talk about fucking Indonesia, and Andy will tie something that he did in with Komodo dragons. Like, you gotta stop doing that. You're not No. You're not associated with everybody. Every topic we talk about, you're not associated with everybody.
Okay, so listen, offensive linemen, they're the unsung heroes of the football team, Cam. You can't win without them. You have to have them.
Very much
left
so.
Tackles are making big-time money. Guards are making big-time money. They're making big money now. I mean, you're seeing offensive guards get paid. You're seeing centers start to get paid. You know,
Yes.
and some of those guys are, listen, most aren't, but a lot of them are household names, man. Like, you can still make a great living. Those guys are athletic as shit. They're over 300 pounds, and for them to have the footwork, the body control, the ability to do what they do every single play, where they're either getting hit or they're hitting somebody every single play. That's why those guys, man, if you see the old school offensive linemen 30 years after they play, those dudes can't even walk, man. They can't walk.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
They can't play golf.
Crippled, man. Their hips and their knees and everything are shot.
Yeah. No, when you go to golf tournaments like that, you know who the football players are, because they're the ones that are just cruising around in the cart because their bodies are so fucked up from the gridiron, man. And I get that, and I respect the shit out of them. I'm just saying, as far as having fun doing something, I wouldn't want to do that. But they're the smartest too. Like, the center is probably the second smartest guy on the field. Like, he's controlling everything. Like,
they
he's
might
looking
be
this
the
way,
smartest.
He's calling the shot.
They might be the smartest because they handle all the calls at the line of scrimmage. They got to handle all that communication at the line of scrimmage. They got to communicate with their guards. They got to communicate with the rest of the line. Quarterback, they're like pointing at different shit, man. Those guys are smart.
They got to make a good snap. You fuck a snap up. We saw with a bunch of different centers, even with Alabama, their last game, the center was fucking terrible, man. He's throwing the ball over the place. That 1 second where you have to reach over to grab the ball as a quarterback, that little half second could determine whether that the linebacker's going to come get you or not. So
what are you talking about,
man.
What are you talking about? Before you snap the ball?
When you snap the ball as a center and the quarterback, and you mess the snap up, and he's got to reach down and get it. That motion that they'll give enough time for the guy to get you. You know what I mean? So it's got to be clean. We saw that firsthand with the big games coming up. So open your eyes and watch the game, because I know you don't.
You're talking about the exchange.
Yeah, when you snap the ball, and sometimes like you fuck up because they rush it or their hands are sweaty, or I don't know. So there's a lot on the table.
I was in Chicago all weekend, and listen, doing the whole youth hockey thing, man. This is gonna be a lot of trips over these years, man. Let's say we got a long way to go. I mean, they're starting younger and younger and younger. My kid's 7 years old already doing these trips, man. And I will say they have a lot of fun, and Chicago does a great job, man. Chicago loves hockey, man. There's rinks everywhere. They pack the place. There's teams everywhere. And I did come back. I flew back early in the morning. I know you were going crazy about that. I've talked to a number of people about this, by the way. Most people agree with me versus you. They all say they would do the same thing. In fact, my team actually lost. We didn't play, so I didn't go back on Sunday. That was the plan. But Steve Ott, dude, who was coaching Saturday night for the Blues, his kid was playing in a game on Sunday, would have been on my flight, dude. I got a text at like 4 o'clock in the morning asking if I was on the way to the airport. I wasn't going, but dude, that's the dedication, man. These parents show for their kids. So you just gotta respect that too. I know you think it's crazy.
No, it's all good. But there's two different things. Steve Ott's gone all the time. You're at home all the fucking time. So you don't miss a beat. Steve Ott has a lot more money than you, and he can travel and do whatever the fuck he wants. So therefore, Steve Ott is missing his kid play all the time. He's in goddamn Calgary right now. You're home all the fucking time. You see Ty all over the place. So when you go and you stress yourself out, when you have so much going on, you had to do something for Chris Zimmerman. You had shit to do with the Blues. You were going to fly back. Then you had to come back, and we're supposed to get up early to do the podcast today. I didn't want you to be overwhelmed. And so I just was like, hey, man, chill out on that. There's a lot more. And I know you like Brian Boucher. He's coming up, and he's like, I wish I could go back and see more. Brian Boucher was playing, and then he was fucking doing TV shit. So he was gone all the time. You're at home. You're not missing anything. So that's why you can't talk to ex-athletes. Why don't you talk to a normal person and see what they say? They're going to be like, no, man, I see what I can, but I got shit to do. I can't make that. So I got to make a game time decision once in a while. And the kid has to get used to going up without his daddy and perform without you watching.
Okay.
That's all.
I've never even been there for a full tournament. I can't even go out of town when they go out of town. So that's the difference. These dads, they get to go to everything, home and away. I don't get to travel, dude. So if I can go there for one.
What dads?
All the other parents. They get to be there.
They all do?
Yeah, they get to be there all the time.
Well, it must be nice for them.
Well,
it must be nice for a dad to be able to see everything. I don't know many dads that are able to do that.
Most of them.
You know what I mean? Like, who just heard? I bet you you're wrong on that. And I bet you the people that are listening right now will completely disagree with you. You're telling me these guys up here in Calgary and shit-kicking fucking Alberta, they're fucking putting their kid on a Greyhound bus going down to fucking play in Timmins. And you're telling me they're making every fucking game when he's got to drive a truck fucking 1,400 miles?
Time out.
Get the fuck out of here. You are out of touch so much
you're
again.
You're talking about
you are out
junior age players. Yeah, they may not meet every game, but
no,
the 7 and 8-year-olds, dude, those parents are there for every game. Every game.
I'm talking about travel hockey. When you get to a level where your kid's traveling, AAA, Car Shield, or whatever it is, like, you can't make everything, man. And if you can, then your parents probably have a ton of money. Your dad has a job where he could fucking say, screw you, put the CEO or put his general manager involved. Like, then you look at that and you're like, wow, you're lucky. But most people, man, have to work. And the mom has to stay home with the other kids. And the kid has to go with another family and whatnot. So when your kid's 7, usually they're not traveling around like Ty's doing. But when you travel all the time, I bet you most of the parents are like, I wish I could, but there's no way in hell I can because I have a job, I have other kids, and it's just too much. So I just didn't want you to get stressed out, dude. That's all. That's all. I'm just looking after.
It would have been crazy, but I will tell you though, just from my experience so far, and he's got more trips to come, but like majority of the dads are able to make every single trip, whatever. There's some that obviously can't occasionally. And if they don't, it's because they're like on a golf trip somewhere or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
You hang out with a bunch of fancy lads, and man, I guess I don't know that you're lucky. They're all lucky because that's usually probably not the case. I would say, it's all good. That's a good thing. That's where you want parents.
Maybe not.
You want parents to be able to have the decision to be able to go see their kid anywhere. But I just don't think that's real.
My wife got mad at me because I told her she didn't need to be in the locker room. Like I go, he's fine. Like you don't need to go in the locker room. Now, is that bad? Is that bad to say?
At 7 years old, I don't know yet, Andy. And I'm being completely honest with you. I think when they get a little bit older, absolutely not. And even you let the coach deal with that. You don't go in the locker room. Now you're still tying the skates. That means you got to get in there. I think right now is okay. If Lori wants to go in the locker room right now, I think it's fine. But when he gets a little bit older, then I'd say no.
Well,
I'd say another year or two. I'd be like,
no. Is like all these other I was on the bench for the games that I was there, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And like all these dads that are there, I know all the dads. So when I'm not there, dude, they all take care of Ty. They tie his skates. They get him dressed. They help him with whatever he needs. He can get him dressed for the most part. Maybe needs a little bit of help with a few things. But all I'm saying is, like, there's plenty of people there who will help him, and you probably don't need to go in.
Okay. Yeah, then tell her that. Then it's time to stay away. It's time to stay away. And she needs to accept that, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's okay. But, yeah, moms are coming in, like, no, this is a locker room. This is a team. Parents, stay the fuck away. We'll be out in a little bit. They're getting ready. They're okay. If somebody else is tying tie skates and Lori doesn't need to, then I don't think she needs to be.
Okay, so because it's not like I'm saying you can't go in there because you're the mom. It's just, dude, the rooms are only so big. No. There's so many parents in there as it is, and dude, I know all these other dads, man. They're great, man. They'll take care of whatever he needs. They take care of, if I'm not there. You know what I mean? In the locker room.
Well, what does he do in the
locker room?
What do you do in a locker room? So what does she do when she gets in the locker room? Like socialize with everybody, or
I don't know.
Then stay out. Okay, just stay out. You're right. Stay out. I thought she was like tying skates still.
No, she doesn't need to tie the skates. Other people will tie the skates.
Then what are you doing in the locker room? You talking to people? You know what I mean? So just let the kids do their thing.
Hey, Patrick Waugh is now back behind an NHL bench, man. Listen, this is what I love about Lou Lamoriello. Nobody knows. He keeps everything a secret, even when he's going out and he's hiring Patrick Waugh. Nobody finds out, and he lets Patrick know. Nobody needs to know about this. Nobody can know about this. We got to keep this quiet. So Patrick's playing ball. He's on the same page. He's not floating it out to anybody, and nobody knows, man. And it's funny because you hear a lot of the insiders. They'll be like, "Wow, this was completely off the radar. Nobody knew." Well, not really. They've been talking for a little bit, but they just didn't tell anybody. And so nobody knew about it, So it depends how you want to define off the radar. Yeah, it's off the radar because there were no rumors about it, man. It wasn't floating around Twitter for the last week or two. But it wasn't off the radar in terms of their communication, man. They've been talking, and they got a deal done. And now he's the head coach of the Islanders. I'll be curious to see how this goes, Cam, like everybody else, man. But I'm looking forward to it. And the NHL is better when Patrick Waugh is back in the National Hockey League, man. I love watching him coach last night and getting a victory in his first game there with the Islanders.
That was a clean-shaven Patrick Waugh. And that's another case where Lou Lamoriello goes back to the Montreal roots. He's done it a lot in his career. He's also fired a lot of coaches late in the year. He did it when I was on the team in 2006 with Paul Julian. We were 23 games over 500. 23 games. So it was crazy. We're killing everybody. We're rocking and rolling. Well-oiled machine. All of a sudden they fire up. I'm a young kid, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? There was a little bit of drama going on. Lou had a feeling. He had a feeling years before when they fired Robbie Ftorek, and they brought in Larry Robinson. Larry Robinson wins the Stanley Cup. They did the same thing with Claude Julien. Lou takes over. We lose to Carolina in the second round, which ended up winning the Stanley Cup. But, yeah, that's his MO. And I wonder if the players are looking at Patrick Waugh and saying, wow, that's Patrick Waugh. But I look at it like these kids are young, dude. They didn't really grow up watching him. Like, I think a lot of them, maybe they were young enough, a little bit old enough to be able to really appreciate him as a player. But now I think they know Patrick Waugh as a coach. But all that's going to wear off. All that shit wears off the first time he sits you the first time he yells at you, the first time you have a losing streak. Right now they're probably like, damn, this is that guy. This is that Hall of Famer. This is that 4-time winner. But once you get in the groove of things and, he starts calling guys out and stuff like that, you're like, no, this is Patrick Waugh, the coach, not the Hall of Famer that I used to watch or know who
you
is.
even have some former players. P.A. Parento, man, we got to get him on because, he's saying he hated Patrick Waugh. He didn't get along with him. And I think the timing is good for Patrick to get back in. Listen, I heard it wasn't always great when he was in Colorado behind the bench, man. I mean, I started doing television when he was still coaching there. There was always kind of drama after the games. He and Ken Hitchcock were going at it a couple times, in post-game press conferences, more so Patrick Waugh. He wanted to run the whole organization. He wanted to be the general manager. He wanted to be the coach. He wanted to be the president. And I think having to go back to junior, having some success, winning a couple of Memorial Cups or whatever he did there, man, obviously winning the most recent one, it's probably humbled him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, this is how I have to be if I want to get back into the NHL. And what I did as a player, while it matters, if I can't work with other people as a head coach, nobody's going to hire me. You know what I mean? So I feel like going back and just kind of like, it's not like he left for just 2 or 3 years, Cam. It's like 10 years ago since he last coached in the NHL. He's been gone for a long time. So his name has been, in the rumor mill to get back in. And I give Lou Lamoriello credit, man, for going out there and getting him. You look at the Islanders, how bad they've been defensively, analytic-wise. They're near the bottom in all the important defensive categories, man. Breakouts, high goaltending. They give up a shit ton of shots, high danger chances against, all of that, man. I mean, possession time in your own end, possession time in the offensive end. They're terrible everywhere. And I'm not the biggest analytics guy, but, man, those type of stats just don't lie. They've been kind of a disaster. I like this Lane Lambert because he's been around for a long time. Obviously worked with Barry Trotz, but this is a completely different animal. You bring in a guy like Patrick Waugh, he'll get their attention regardless if they're overly familiar with him or not, Cam. I guarantee you one thing, when they talk to their dad and be like, hey, we just hired Patrick Waugh, their dads are telling them who the hell he is. You know what I'm saying? So they know. He's a true iconic figure in NHL history. And it's interesting because there was so much, during Marty Berdeur's career, Marty obviously and Lou Lamoriello, man, they're connected at the hip. And it was always about who's the best goaltender in the NHL. Is it Marty? Is it Patrick Waugh? Yeah. They were always 1-2. And, Marty had so much success with Lou. And now he's teaming up with Patrick Waugh, man. I think it's great. And I'll be curious, just like everybody else, man. I want to see how this goes. But again, he's going to have that initial shock factor. He's super energetic. I mean, that Lane Lambert, from what I understand, is pretty quiet, right? He's not the most motivating individual. You watch him in his press conferences. This guy, Patrick Waugh, like, he's super vocal in practice. He's like going crazy. And then he's on the ice, he's high-fiving guys, man. So they'll get the initial boost. And you look at the talent that the Islanders have on the roster, man. If they get a legit boost, a couple of things, man. I'll be curious to see how good this team can be. Don't forget they just went to the conference final a couple of times just a few years ago. And I'll also be curious if there's a chain reaction, right? Are other teams going to copy Lou Lamoriello, who are in the playoff hunt or either out of the playoffs and close to getting in, or who are currently in the playoffs, but maybe the manager says, man, things are not trending in the right direction. Maybe we should make a change as well, because there's some other pretty good coaches out there too.
No, there are. There's a ton of good coaches out there waiting in the weeds. But if you look at Patrick Waugh, maybe some people are saying, wow, they hired him because of Patrick Waugh's name. Well, no, man. Like, if Patrick Waugh was a no-name guy and he did what he did with Colorado, although it turned out to be whatever, he went back down and grinded it for 10 years and was very, very successful. He'd be a prime candidate to be an NHL coach. Like, he just would. And he is Patrick Waugh. So you tie that all together. I think this is going to be a great decision. I'm excited. I'm rooting for them. And Patrick Waugh is the most popular guy in that whole organization besides Lou. Like, he is. Like, Patrick Waugh is the man. But he also said in his press conference, too, he's like, wait, like, Patrick Waugh is not going to go in and try to be the fucking GM, try to be the president. Lou's the guy. And Lou is one of the only guys that can keep him under control. Patrick Waugh had that fucking beard, and now he doesn't. And that is the first sign to say, Lou's in charge. I'm here to coach. And I think that is his mindset. I think he's matured as a coach. And so, like, I'm excited to see it, man. I'm rooting for guys like that. I love guys with passion. I love guys that call, no, I'll sit your ass down. I like that. I do. So I'm going to be rooting for the Islanders, man. I'm always rooting for Lou Lamoriello. We all know that. So we'll see what's up with that, dude. I'm excited for them. I like it. Good. Get some big name, loud coaches. I want to see Patty get pissed in press conferences. I want them. I just it's going to be more entertaining, and the more entertaining is good for guys like you know who, me and you, Andy, and our content for this podcast.
Well, listen,
baby.
man, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, he's not trying to be the GM. He's not trying to run the organization. He's just focusing on coaching and maybe lose the one guy who could maybe, do that where, like, you know your lane and you stay in your lane, know your seat on the bus, and you just do your thing. I think he was I think he won a Jack Adams when he was in Colorado. It might have been his first year as head coach. I mean, he came in like gangbusters, man.
Yeah, he did.
But again, some of these coaches, if you make it about you, where we see other coaches sometimes do that, and you make it about you and you become too loud, you can become very annoying very quickly. You better hope the hell you're winning and you're going deep in the playoffs for that to happen. So sometimes you just got to be, a little bit on the chill side. The Islanders, to me, are maybe the most boring organization in hockey, dude. They just, I know they're good, but if there's like 5 or 6 games that are on and the Islanders are one of them, it's just not one of the first games I'm going to. There's just something about it. Now automatically, just by the addition of Patrick Waugh, dude, they become way more interesting, although they've got some players that I really like on that team, Matty Barzal and Scotty Mayfield, to give him a shout out, the St. Louis kid, man. So I always pay attention to see how he's doing. They got other good defensemen. They've had, they have a goaltender, obviously, and they've got a good collection of forwards, man. They got Bo Horvat there. They've got some good pieces, and now they got a head coach that's going to give them some personality, man. I'll be curious to see the impact this guy has,
I don't think the organization's boring. I think the team plays boring lately. I think the team plays boring. The organization's cool, dude. They've been around a long time. Their fans are goddamn psychos, and I love it. Yeah, baby. You know what a boring team is to me? A team with a fan base that's boring.
Who's the most boring team in the NHL?
Probably Arizona. Andy. It's got to be. Or Columbus, Arizona, Columbus. Not Florida anymore. It was, but it's not Florida anymore. It's not Nashville. They're fun. It's Arizona. Well, San Jose right now. But when they're rock and rolling, their fan base gets going. But Arizona and Columbus are the most boring. But the Islanders, like, go to an Islander game. It's crazy. People are like fighting. Yeah. Fans are fighting each other. Like, it's fun. It's a fun atmosphere. Now, is their game fun because they don't score many goals? No. But as far as their organization, I like that organization. They're fun.
With you, dude.
They're loud.
And they've lost a shit ton. They've lost
a
shit ton of games in
bit?
overtime too. So it's good to see them win an overtime game in their first one.
Yeah.
I hear you, man. They got a lot of history there. Those fans have been kicked in the fucking nuts with the building situation. They finally got a new arena, all that. So, and they got Lou there, but just the team has not been one of those teams that just, for a fan who's not from there, or maybe not an Islanders fan, you're just not, overly gravitated towards watching them play. Carolina, listen, they've got super passionate fans. What's interesting about Columbus, man, is like everybody who's played there and people who work there, that's all you ever hear about is how great the fans are. Those fans must be super loyal. That organization hasn't given that fan base shit, man, over the years, dude. They're just like, if they're loyal, I give that Columbus fan base a lot of credit, man, for staying loyal. You know what I mean? Because yes.
Oh, Columbus or not? Or Carolina,
dude.
Okay,
they've been waiting for something to be happy about, and every year they get sold a bill of goods in the offseason, whether they hire a Stanley Cup winning coach. They go out and they sign the big fish in free agency, whatever it is, man. Every year we think this is going to be the year for Columbus. And at the end of the year, who are they, Cam? Columbus, So I don't want to
Columbus.
chirp Columbus.
Yeah.
I want Columbus to be good, but I hear their fan base is really, really strong, man. Unfortunately, the NHL, the rest of the league, we don't get to see it because they're never really, that competitive.
Yeah, I thought you meant Carolina. I'm like, Carolina's been fun to watch for a long time. And they won in 06 and stuff. Yeah. But I would have said if Winnipeg wasn't good, I'd maybe throw them in there. But they are unbelievable. They're flying around, dude. They are fast. They got an unbelievable goaltender. Ehlers had an awesome play the other day in overtime, just flying around 100 miles an hour. Like, we chirp Winnipeg here and there, man. It's not an easy place to live. It's not an easy place to, travel to and whatnot. And I know their attendance was kind of, remember they were getting chirped a little bit at the beginning of the year. They weren't even packing that 15,000 seat rink. But now it's like, whoa, they're fucking winning hardcore games. And it's not a fluke. So I'm excited. Listen, I'm a Canadian right now, just so you know. I'm a Canadian, and I'm rooting for Winnipeg, and I'm rooting for Vancouver. I like seeing these teams in the mix, man. I like seeing now Toronto might be a different story. They're hit or miss right now. They're taking a lot of flack. They got a lot of work to do. Their D zone, holy shit! The last game against Vancouver, they don't show up until the end. All of a sudden, like, we're gonna play games, we're gonna score 3, and then they lose again. But I'm rooting for Winnipeg, man. Good for you. I'm giving you a little shout out there.
They asked
They're
me
fun to
the other
watch.
day on NHL Network radio if I thought Craig Berube would have interest in going to Toronto, and I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. I don't think it's a great fit for him. Obviously, they've got some real talent, like legit elite talent on their roster, but there's a lot of holes too. I don't think he'd want to deal with that animal. I've been saying it from day one, man. And even when you look at the way John Tortorella talks, and he's talking about the future and don't fall in love with the current pieces and whatever, you cannot get off the path towards building the organization the right way. He almost talks like he's a manager. You know what I mean? And, I've had so many people tell me that that's what he wants to do. He wants to move up into the front office. And that would certainly open up a vacancy for Keith Jones to hire his good buddy, Craig Berube. When I say good buddy, they're not just like acquaintances who have hung out. They're like best of friends, dude.
No.
Best of friends. And, Berube's doing some scouting for the Blues right now. He's still under contract, man. That tells you all you need to know about Craig Berube.
Yeah.
That he's willing to do that. And I know some people would say, well, he better because he's still getting paid. But, well, listen, most head coaches who get fired, man, are so pissed off and angry. I don't see too many of them in the press box scouting for the team that just let them go. There's been others who have done it, many who have done it in the past, but I'll give Berube credit. I've always said if it's not Philadelphia, the best job for Berube, based on logistics, his family concerns, man, his wife is obviously from Philly, they're back in Philly, is that Jersey job. And the seat's only getting hotter and hotter for Lindy Ruff. Now, I don't know if that's deserved. Yeah. Like when you don't have Jack Hughes who's healthy and all that type of. Listen, it's tough to really blame the coach, man. That guy, they don't have great goaltending either. You look at New Jersey, but
I know.
Yeah.
Can I say something? I want Berube. I think you're 100% right with Tortorella moving up. Mm-hmm. Imagine those two running a team with Keith Jones and Briere. Like, that's about as cool as you can get. Like, if I'm a player and I see who's above me, who I walk on the bus and the plane, and I see these guys are in control of what I'm doing. These are my bosses. I'm like, hell yeah, I want to play for this organization. But in a selfish way, Andy, I want Craig Berube to go to Toronto. I want him to go to Toronto. I want him to sit behind that bench when they're slacking, when no one's back checking, when they don't show up for the first 40 minutes, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, let's start playing. I kind of want to see that. I want to see Craig Berube in the post-game press conferences take on that Toronto media and look at them and do his thing where he doesn't stutter. He knows what he's saying. He'll give you 2-word answer. I kind of, on a selfish way, I want to see that. Do I blame Craig Berube for not wanting to deal with that fucking mess? Hell no. But do I want to see that? Absolutely. And I do think that could be a good fit for a guy like that. Like, seriously, like, who else? Like, okay, if Keith gets out of there, like, who do you think can go in there and put their foot down with all the superstars? It's a guy like Chief, in my opinion.
Well, no, he'd be a great fit for that team. I just think that he knows he's in the driver's seat. And so is he going to pick to go there? You never know. Listen, I remember talking to Berube about Rick Tocchet going to Vancouver. And when you're in that position, you can't really afford to say no to too many jobs. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's been a great fit for Tocchet. He's turned that things around. You got Jim Rutherford getting the contract extension. Alvin is going to get a contract extension. That's in the works right now. Vancouver's moving in the right direction, dude. I love watching the Canucks play. From the very first week of the season, dude, you knew that team was going to be legit, just the way that they were playing. But you got to be careful because if you want to coach and somebody offers you a head coaching job, you can't be too selective, right? Because there's only so many jobs available. Right. So I'm not making any proclamation or any guarantee or prediction that Berube would not go to Toronto. I just from my own personal experience, talking to him, getting to know him a little bit, Toronto may have come up. It may not have come up at the time when he got let go. I don't think that would be his number one choice, man, from a family standpoint, So
I would love it, though, Andy. I would love to see that. I would love to see the big boy back there running the show. I would. I totally would. But yeah, like we'll see. Hey, it's funny. Bruce Boudreau. Well, first off, with the Rick Tocchet situation, when he did go to Vancouver, me and you both were like, damn. Like Ricky had the best gig going. We just had him on the pod. We love him to death. He's so down to earth. He's so cool. He's so chill. He was so great on TNT. Every time he's on there, you listen to every damn thing he says. Love the way he chirped Biz. I love the whole connection there. And then he goes to Vancouver, and me and you were like, why would he want to do that? Why would he want the stress? And me, I'm like, wow, why, you're making good money there. I know you want to get back to coaching. And then he does, and he turns his team around. And they're playing right now, flying around, doing their thing. And I'm like, oh, it worked out. So you kind of have to take that with a grain of salt. So my point is with Berube, though, like to sit behind that Toronto Maple Leafs bench, he played there for a little bit, and just keep the big boys in check. I just think he would do a really good job there. And maybe he could be the guy that turns that around.
He could be,
in my opinion.
To me, he's the right hire for any of these teams. Jersey. See, Jersey would keep him at home. That's kind of why I say that. If he really wants to be in that Philadelphia area, then you got wife and kids and all that involved, Cam. You know how that goes, And he's
totally.
He's coached himself into that position. He's put himself in that position where he can be a little bit choosy, right? He's a Stanley Cup winner, and you only get so many opportunities over the course of your career to kind of be selective in terms of where you want to go.
And just like Corey Perry, I'm thinking, where's Corey Perry going to go? He wants to play still. He went through hell. Weird rumor hell. And I felt bad for him. We talked about this. We clipped it off. I felt bad for Corey Perry. I respect the hell out of him. I even chirped Ryan Reeves for chirping Corey Perry. I'm like, what are you doing? Corey Perry's a stud. He's a winner. And he's still playing. He's doing his thing. He still play. And we're thinking maybe he'll go to a place like Dallas or somewhere that's kind of just settle. You sit back. You have a couple guys walk in the locker room. You deal with it. But he picked Edmonton. And I'm like, wow, right in the media fucking midst of everything. And he goes up there. He gets on stage. He doesn't want to comment on what happened in Chicago. He got that away. He's like, screw this. I like this team. I feel like I can help out. You got your monsters in Edmonton doing everything. You got guys just along for the ride. You need a Corey Perry in there to settle everything down in that locker room, score some big-time goals, move up and down the lineup, get pissy with people. Hell, I like that team, man. I like that Edmonton team, and I like that Corey Perry on that Edmonton team. That's another Canadian team. Listen, I'm Canadian now. I told you guys. That's another team I'm rooting for.
I think it's a great fit for the Oilers, and I think it's a great fit for Corey Perry because even though it's Canada and it's the Oilers, he can kind of just like slide in there. Yeah. It's Edmonton at the end of the day, right? It's not Toronto. It's not Montreal. It's not Vancouver. Still a ton of attention. It's McDavidville. But listen, this guy, you look at how he plays. I thought he was playing good hockey for Chicago earlier this year, man. He's going to be a great mentor for these young guys. This guy's almost played 200 career playoff games. Yep. He's got like 196 career playoff games, dude. This guy went to three consecutive Stanley Cup final. Didn't win one, obviously, but obviously won back in 2007. But he just went to 3 consecutive ones. Teams win when he's on the roster.
Yep.
He played great in Tampa Bay. He was a great fit there. And it's
They
not
love
about
him.
McDavid and Draisaitl, in my opinion. I think it's like the supporting cast, dude. He's going to drag those guys into the fight. And let me just say this, man, because you don't have to drag, the Hymans of the world, the McDavids, the Draisaitl. You're not trying to drag them in. They're going to do their thing. It's for the rest of the group. And I think he's going to have a great impact on the rest of the team. It's not about those guys. They put up their points anyway. They're winning every single night. He's walking into a great situation. I hope this doesn't disrupt the chemistry because they're going to lose eventually. And now people are going to say, well, now they just brought in Corey Perry. Now they're going to start losing. No, but that team, now they slide into the 3-hole. LA's struggling. You knew that was going to happen at some point, that LA was going to be the team to fall out, even though they had a great first half of the season. They were very impressive earlier in the year. But the way Edmonton was playing and with the talent and how good they were last year, it was only a matter of time before they got themselves back into that 3-hole, man, out of the Pacific. So I'm excited for Corey, man. I'm glad he chose there. Listen, it's one of those teams you're not really thinking about, and then you're like, damn, they could use a Corey Perry, man. He's going to help them.
Yeah, big time. Just another veteran voice in that locker room that could settle things down, that could come up big at a certain time. Maybe McDavid's not going. Maybe Kane's not going. Maybe Corey Perry tells Kane, get going a little bit here. Maybe he keeps Kaner going. Like, you need a guy like that. And he's already a leader on that team. He's done enough. He's been around so long. He's a winner. Fuck, I'd take him. I would take him no matter what. If I was a coach or a GM, I would have let things settle down, and I'd be like, I want him. I'd look at what he did, and I'm like, okay, we'll evaluate that. And once you do, you're like, no, I still want him. We got the team. This is a little piece we need. So that was a cool decision. I'm glad that they did that, and I'm glad his life's turned around a little bit because I did feel bad for him. But I will say this, too. Funny how things changed, Andy. Fuck, 2 months ago, me and you on this here podcast, I remember you clipped us off, and I'm like, get Connor McDavid out of there. And now you look at it, and at the time, they were terrible. McDavid's cheeks were sunk in. He looked like he was just miserable. He's yelling at the reporters. Draisaitl's yelling at the reporters. Tim Peel's yelling at the reporters up there because of the and all of a sudden they turn it around. They fire their coach. They get some momentum. They get some energy. And the big guys had found a way to revive themselves. And it's fun to watch. But, hey, we wrote them off 2 months ago.
You still might have to get them out of
it. It is what it is.
Eventually. I'm not sitting here saying they're going to win the Stanley Cup, Cam. Although they could.
Well, right now it's different.
I'm not.
Oh my God! How much do you think these are?
I'm not going to sit here and say
how much do you think these are.
I hear a couple of people have told me that Edmonton is they're floating it out there to get rid of Evander Kane, and they wouldn't mind to move on from Evander Kane, man. So,
really? Do you see his wife
kicked out of the building or something? Why is she there?
She's fucking nuts, dude. Is that his ex-wife?
No, I ain't gonna chirp him for that. And, I don't know what that's all about. Yeah.
No, I'm not chirping. I'm not chirping him. I'm chirping her.
Getting back to Perry, it's interesting because this guy, he's had a pretty clean track record throughout his entire career. Like, there's never really been anything negative. People like him people who don't like him probably don't like him because, he plays hard and, he plays hard against their team or whatever, but he's never really had any off-ice controversy, nothing like that, right? Throughout the course of his career. So he's at the end of the road for his career. I mean, who knows how much longer this guy's going to play. And you only have so much time to rehabilitate whatever controversy or distraction that took place. It's not like you're Patrick Kane, who was a young kid. Remember what everybody used to say about Patrick Kane when he first came into the league and he was partying and going down to the University of Wisconsin and doing his thing, whatever, had some off-ice issues, and people all, they all had this like perception and created their own opinion of Patrick Kane, like they knew everything about him. And then he became one of the more likable players of his generation, man, in the league. Showtime, all this, man, great NHL superstar. So I feel like this is an opportunity in a Canadian market for Corey Perry to kind of get back on track and kind of remove whatever blemish that was created from his time in Chicago. He should have never gone to Chicago to begin with. It didn't even make sense for him to go there. This guy belongs on a contending team, a team that's going to be in the playoffs and is going to have a chance to go deep in the playoffs. That's where he's going to have the biggest impact. He should have never gone to the Blackhawks to begin with.
Well, they paid him. Don't pay him $4 million. He wouldn't have gone. You know what I mean? So like the money's money, and I know he has a ton of money, but I don't like when people are like, "Oh, he's got so much money. What does he need?" You could always use a couple extra million. You don't know what he's doing with it. He might be saving puppies around fucking Canada somewhere with that extra $2 million. Who knows? So I don't ever tell people don't take the money. I don't give a shit how much money you have. I'm not that kind of guy. But if you want to be a winner, I could see making a different decision and turning that money down. But maybe there wasn't an opportunity for him. So everything works out in the end if you're a good person. And he went through hell in a weird way, Corey Perry and Connor Bedard. They went through a weird fucking social media blow up hell. And I'm glad it's all over with. And I did see that Connor Bedard's out for another 6 weeks. And on top of the 6 weeks, I don't know what happened there. He might have had a setback with his jaw. I feel bad for the kid, man. Like, I miss watching him play. The Blackhawks are playing right now against the Canucks, and I'm like, fuck. And what's the point of watching the Chicago Blackhawks without goddamn, at least Nicky Foligno and Connor Bedard cruising around. So that's a tough one.
I didn't mind
I hated seeing that.
The money. It was a 1-year deal, so I thought there was a good chance anyway that he would have gotten moved at the trade deadline. You know what I'm saying? So he still gets his $4 million bucks.
Yep.
All I'm saying is like he doesn't need to be on a rebuild at this stage of his career.
Did he get his contract terminated?
Yeah.
He got his contract terminated though, didn't he? So he's not getting
some
the full
bonuses
money.
and stuff like that, obviously, in his deal that he can make up some of it. But again,
it all worked out.
Don't chase the money at that stage. You can. I'm not going to chirp him either for taking $4 million, but it's not when you've made over $100 million in your career. What's an extra $2 million? You know what I mean? I mean, it's $2 million.
I don't know, but these things are like $28 a can, and I'm already on my third one, so I might need some of his fucking money. Although we do get per diem, which is quite nice. I miss playing, man. I don't know, it's really expensive, but I don't care. We got a load of cash, we got a 5-day road trip. It's nice, like you get the per diem money like the players do. Just a lot of cash. I think it's $140 a day. It's quite nice.
You sound sick.
Quite nice. You sound sick. You look sick.
This guy's
Lord,
breathing all over everybody. Breathing all over everybody at the fantasy camp.
Well, if the team gets sick, it's my fault.
I'm waiting for an update. Have you seen an update on Caitlin at all, or no? Or is there anything going on? Is there anything
Don't waste
going
my
on
time.
with that?
Don't waste my time.
She did a LeBron flop. I will say I didn't like that, Caitlin. We don't need to be doing that. She should have just knock her down.
No, Andy. You are such you. I don't know the word is for you, but like at the beginning of the podcast, and everybody knows out there, all my Canadian people, because I'm up here now, it's like Andy's like, oh, I feel bad. Poor girl, and I'm like, no. She ran into the other girl, then she flops down because she lost, and now you're turning your story like you said it. You do that all the time with me. You say something, then I counter it, and then you come back and you say what I said like you said it.
That's not.
You do that all the time.
True.
It's unbelievable.
I said earlier in the show she had a LeBron-like flop, dude. The way she went down. No. You were crying.
You brought it up to get me fired up because you didn't have a take on it. And then once I had my take, you steal my take like it was yours originally. And now you're like, this was my thought. No, you took it from me.
Is she okay? Do we know that she's
Lord.
okay?
She's making good money. Making good money.
Hey, but what does that say
Damn
about
good money.
WNBA, though, man? That the college girls are making, close to $1 million. And
well, what's it say about the NFL? Brock Purdy's not making as much money as a ton of college kids.
He'll make it up. This guy's going to be making 30.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be.
I
what's
like
up with
him
his
too.
girlfriend, dude? Oh, no, that was the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback whose girlfriend wore that outfit.
Oh.
She
looked sexy. God dang. I told Kate, I go, find something like that and wear it because that gets me going. That tight-ass white. Like, I don't know what that was, but I'm like, whoa, fucking A, girl. I'm like, Kate, get on that. That's sexy to me. That's one of those nights where you and your wife are partying a little bit, and my kids are always gone, but your kids are gone. You're like, let's get weird
Oh my
tonight.
God.
Put that outfit on. We're getting down with it. Yeah, we're taking our time, putting candles on, and I'm doing things.
How are you going to handle being away from
That's what I
Kate
like.
for the next 3 or 4 days? You going to be able to survive? You going to be able to handle that?
I've traveled my whole life, Andy, but you're right. Like, I've been a homebody with her for a while, and I love it. I do. Like, I get homesick still. Like, I'm still like a kid in a way. I get homesick. I love my home. I have Kate, like, send me pictures of the puppies laying there. They're all laying there. Little boo-boos laying snuggled up. The puppies are just laying down. She's watching a movie. I'm going to just take some pictures. And just send it just makes me feel good. I'm having a good time. I'm sitting in a nice place. We calling the game with Curbs, watching hockey, traveling Canada, hanging out, seeing people upstairs and old teammates of mine and whatnot. So I'm in a good spot. But I am a homebody. I do get homesick, and I do miss my home on the road. But like, this is business. If I gotta travel, man, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Gotta do what you gotta do, Andy.
What are you spitting in?
Oh, just a water bottle. I'm chilling, man. I'm in a good mood now. I got my food here. I got my wine. I know everybody's out, and it'd be cool for me to go like hang out with some of the crew and stuff like that. But I'll have time to do it. But I'm gonna chill tonight and watch some hockey, shoot the shit, maybe make some phone calls and stuff like that. So I'm gonna be.
Are you gonna go out? Are you gonna go out after we're done here, or are you staying in the?
No, I think I'm done for tonight. It's been a long day for me, man. I've been stressed out all day. It's always stressful for me to get on a plane too. Sometimes my vertigo hits me on the plane. I was totally cool today. I did sneak a couple tequila shots on, and I kind of like not sneak them on. I just had a couple of cocktails. I sipped on it. I felt pretty good. I even I closed the window so I don't see the outside because I feel like sometimes I'm falling down. If you guys know, you know when you're on a plane. I've had bad experiences. Usually it's because I partied the night before really hard. That's what really messes you up. So just remember that if you're flying on a plane, if you have the vertigo kind of weird thing that I do, if you go in there with a clean slate in your head, you're going to be okay. But if you partied all night, you're like, then you're going to go through that weird moment. So today was good. It was a long trip, but I did pretty good on the plane. But I better get used to it, man. If you're going to be flying around, man, you gotta learn how to fly again.
Well, you got 4 flights coming up this week, dude, and then you won't have one for a little while. So you got to get through. You just got to get through this week, dude. You know what I mean?
I will. Yeah.
Then you can be a homebody again for a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
Were you okay on the flight?
Yeah, I was totally fine. The guys are all cool, man. Totally cool. Everybody's cool on the team. Bucci's the one that hasn't said anything. I haven't really talked to him yet.
I gotta send him a text. I'm gonna shoot him a text and tell him to say hello.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bug him.
He's my guy, man. He's one of my favorite players on the team. He's an awesome dude.
He's a guy I haven't really talked to yet, so I'd like to say hey to him. But I'll have the opportunity to.
Dude, he'll talk to you forever, man. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
he'll talk to you.
I'll get that.
All right, let's get to Brian Boucher. Boosh.
Handsome motherfucker. Fuck is he handsome. With his beautiful hair. He looks like he's 29 years old. He's a smart man. He's like, and we're like, well, how'd you get into TV? Well, how do you think he got into TV? He's smart. He knows the game. He's played the game. He's played with a lot of different players. Handsome as shit. He's like a perfect combination for it. And he does a damn good job. And he was great on this episode, too.
Yeah,
totally
he
cool.
Was great. And he had some great moments in his career, man. It's always interesting.
Yes.
This guy was a first-round pick, really in an era where there weren't that many first-round picks who played goaltender. But he would deliver, like in big moments. He had some huge games in the playoffs and stuff. He had that one streak, dude, where he had 5 consecutive games of recording a shutout, which is like completely unheard of. That may be one of the most unbreakable records ever.
Yeah, no, that was.
Speaking of which, dude, because Ovi scored like maybe the greatest goal in hockey history ever. Even Boucher says that he thinks it's the greatest goal ever. The one where he was on his back, I think it was his rookie season. It was incredible.
Arizona.
But watching Ovi the other day, he's funny, man. I was talking to Oshie, and we were doing a little interview, whatever, that was going to air that night. He like walks through the room. There was like nobody else in there. And he starts like just making these noises like Native American noises, just screaming through the locker room, dude. You know, he's
Native American noises? I doubt that's what it was, Andy. Jesus Christ.
Kind of like you know.
Is he speaking Cherokee?
He's been
Native American.
He says Native American. He had like Native American noises, like.
No, he's Russian. He's probably Russian noise, dude. A little difference. A little bit of a difference there. You know what I mean? I bet it wasn't Native American anything.
You think they have Indians in Russia?
Listen, all the natives went through Russia to get to North America in the beginning of time. So yeah, we're all connected. They came up from Africa, went through Russia, and walked over the Bering Strait into Alaska and made their way south. And then the ice ages melted, and then that bridge was water now, and they all got trapped in North America, and they were stuck there for thousands of years until Columbus came over. Yeah.
So what is that?
Why don't you look up some history books once in a while?
Did you just say Russia?
They walked through Russia. Yeah. Imagine that.
The Native Americans.
Yeah. Well, you came through Africa at the beginning, and you start spreading throughout Europe. Then you made your way through Russia. You kept looking. They kept trying. Like, let's go farther. Let's go farther. Just like the westward expansion with the U.S. Keep going. Let's go through these mountains. We have nothing to lose. We got nothing going on. In Ireland, we had to come over here. We're starving. They said they'll give us free land out west. So they made this trip all the way out west, and they see these mountains and the Cherokee Indians, and they're killing each other, and it's crazy, man. But back in the day, that's how they came here. And then the Ice Age melted, and they all stuck here, and that's the Native Americans.
I'm seeing some crazy videos right now.
So there's a connection.
Damn, I'm seeing some crazy videos. They just found these little girls that were like in these like what do you call those, like
barrels?
Those barrels.
Barrels?
They were in barrels.
Yes, I saw that too.
Where were they?
Where was that at? Was that maybe in the Middle East?
Dude,
was it in the Middle East? I don't know. I don't want to talk.
USA. The way that I heard the police talking, and she talked English. They had to be in the USA.
Oh, it's probably a kidnapper. Well, it's probably yeah. Okay, then maybe
kidnappers.
Yeah, sex slaves. Yes, just like we had old boy on from Carolina. Sex trafficking. Yeah, just like all the trafficking coming up. Yeah, dude. That I think that's what it was. I mean, there's so many crazy things going on, and Twitter is so fucked up. If you look at For You on Twitter, mine is so hardcore. I can't even look at it, dude.
Me either.
I can't even look at it. Execution style killings. This, that. People get run over by trains. I'm like, I can't do it. So
they're fighting at the train station. They get pushed over onto the tracks. All I'm looking for, I just want like Caitlyn update, dude. That's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for an update on Caitlyn. And I can't even get that. I gotta see all this other stuff to see how she's doing.
I know you do. Do
you know she's averaging 31 points a game, Cam?
Man, stop, man. Stop wasting my time. Seriously. Stop wasting everybody's time. You're pissing everybody off.
No, my people, man, they know.
And then I'm going to say something dumb, and somebody's going to say, Cam.
Don't do it.
Cam, let me tell you, I'm going to stop listening now. I'm sick of this. I'm like, okay.
Did you watch?
Sorry.
Did you watch the game the other night? The Flyers game. It was on NHL Network. That was a pretty good game too. They had a lot of stuff going on. And that I told you to tune in. Remember, I called you. I said, "Turn it on, dude. Watch the game." Do you not remember that?
What night was it?
A couple of days ago. It was an afternoon.
Sunday?
It's an afternoon game.
Oh, I was getting Culvers.
You were.
I was getting Culvers. So on a Sunday, Kate and I just got done with the fantasy camp shit. I'm so fucking tired. I went to my daddy's house. I hooked him up with a bunch of first form stuff. I talked to him for a long time. You know, anytime I'm going on a week-long road trip, I have to go see my dad and give him a hug and talk to him. You know, you just don't know, right? You just don't fucking know. Yeah. And so when I'm coming back, I told Kate, I'm like, I'm getting fucking. If you guys know Culver's, and I looked at a graph about Culver's, it's all over the place. It's one of the top 20 fast food places in America, I think, the way it's spread out. What do you think number one is?
Wait a minute, top 20 in terms of volume, like how many there are? Locations?
Yeah, how many stores?
Number one is probably Subway or KFC or McDonald's.
Damn, boom, boom, boom. Subway is number one by a mile. Then I believe McDonald's, then Taco Bell, then I think KFC, and then boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Wait a minute. You're telling me there's more Subways than McDonald's?
Yes.
Wow.
Subway is number one. Yep.
Do you think it's because of Jared, or why do you?
Oh.
Remember, he was the
That
spokesman.
weirdo.
I watched that documentary, dude. It was very
What
bizarre.
a weirdo motherfucker. Weirdo motherfucker. He looks kind of like a weirdo, but he did.
Very
Subway blew up off
successful
that.
campaign, dude. Very successful.
Yeah, you probably like him.
No,
you probably like him. You're rooting for him like you are Peyton Clark.
No, because now you look at Subway, dude. They get the biggest of the biggest like sports superstars. They got Steph Curry.
Charles Barkley.
Like Charles Barkley.
Awesome.
They get all the big dogs, dude. So they spend some cash.
They called
on
out
their
of
marketing.
That. Fucking right, you have to. When you get a Jared Psycho weirdo, when you get a weirdo Jared Psycho that brings you to the top, I walk the Subway every day. I lost 300 pounds. I walk the Subway. I get the cold cup combo. Everybody's like, wow, look at this. He shows his jeans. He's like, look at me, look at me. But then he's dingling around with fucking kids. Dude. And he's looking at fucking kiddie porn. And then they drop, and they're like, we got to do something. Charles Barkley, fucking Michael Strahan, Steph Curry, let's go. Who knows how much money they spent on that. Michael Phelps, and they built it back up. Subway's gigantic, dude. Now, the only thing with Subway is it's still fast food bullshit. It's okay. Like, if you're from Jersey, all y'all out there, baby, what's up, Jersey? You don't fucking think of Subway. You go to that deli that's been there for 50 years, and the old lady's back there, and she's cutting the cheese by hand. When you live in Jersey, you come back to St. Louis and you eat Subway, you're like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing?
Yeah,
There's so much good food out there.
Let me tell you this, dude. You know? I live in St. Louis. I don't eat Subway.
Here we go.
I don't ever eat Subway. Ever.
You don't eat anything. You don't eat anything. Your take on food is just it's a moot point to me because you don't eat.
I'm not gonna encourage people to go watch that Subway doc. It was very disturbing, and he is a sick son of a bitch.
He's a creep.
But they did crawl. Yeah, dude. They did crawl out of the hole, and they were able to do it. And they spend a shit ton on advertising dollars, man. So we can appreciate that. All right, let's get to Brian Boucher.
Yeah.
As always, fueled by First Form, Cam. I have this for our fans.
Here, hold on. This
is going to help me because we're not in studio, so we don't have our energy drinks there on the table. So this is the level 1. This is what I take after my workouts, Cam. 5 grams BCAA per serving, low temperature, processed proteins. This is the level 1. This is the red velvet cake, dude. Red velvet cake.
Damn good.
Oh,
damn good.
This is
right there.
This is like gold right here. Remember, everyone wanted that red velvet cake.
Yep.
Yeah.
Damn good. So I got this too. This is what I take on the road, guys.
I also have
this is these proteins.
Juicy watermelon too, Cam.
Thank you.
Yeah, you see that one?
Thank you. I'm sure you use those right after your workout. These you take on the plane. These are damn good. They're 20 grams of protein. They're low protein sticks. This one is filled with sharp cheddar cheese. It's damn good. And this is my little. This looks like a little drug kit, but it's not. It's what I take in the morning. This is when I was sick. I was crushing right here. The hydration sticks. Put this in the water. You feel like $1 million afterwards. I take my vitamins too. Feel like mix that with the protein, by the way, Ignition. And I take these vitamins as well. I feel like $1 million. My hair's growing back, I think, a little bit. I don't know. So, Ignition, thank you, Andy. We saw it earlier.
Okay, Cam, mix with the protein. The Ignition.
You take that, I know. That you watch Nick Clement.
First Form Nick. Big shout out because he got the core values. Yeah. It's like the Hart Trophy, dude.
Dude, he looked awesome up there. He looked awesome. Yeah, the mic, right there, baby. They got all kinds of stuff. I just told you, I went to my daddy's. I hooked him up with these badass zip-up hoodies that have First Form. If you, I know the Blues sent out pictures of me. I look like an idiot. But I'm on the plane. They take a picture of me with my book. And I had First Form shirts on all weekend long. They're all over the place. I wear all their stuff. It's good stuff, man. Damn good stuff.
I don't know if you can hear me. These were sent to me
No, we
I'm
can't.
just give you a little,
We can't.
I want to give you a little tour around the office because we have so much going on in here. But
No, don't waste our time, dude.
They sent Sammy Blais jerseys because this is from the Pee Wee Quebec tournament, and they want Sammy Blais to sign these for the Pee Wee Quebec tournament. And I told him, I said, I have these jerseys, you got to sign these. And he said, I was a fucking legend at the Pee Wee Quebec tournament.
Oh, he said that? It probably was.
Oh, I'm sure he was. I'm trying to see what else I have.
The first form's got it going.
Oh, this is a couple things I want to show. Bobby Plager bobblehead doll cam. You want to see that?
That's cool, man. I don't want to chirp you because you got Bobby on there. I love Bobby, but don't waste any more time. It's a puck. I know.
Want to know where this puck is from?
Hey, Andy, I just want to watch this game, dude. Don't waste my fucking time.
Oh man!
Don't waste my time. You're wasting everybody. You waste my time. You waste everybody's time. Okay. If I'm getting pissed at you, everybody's getting mad at you. That's how it goes.
That could be a very important goal that was scored at some point.
Just so you know, once you annoy me, you're annoying everybody else. Remember that. No one's on your side like, yeah, Andy, show me more.
They might.
They don't give a fuck.
More stuff.
No, they don't. They don't care.
I got to show one thing for the Toronto fans, and then we'll get to because this is for the Toronto fans.
Yeah, then let's go because you're wasting people's fucking time, dude. God damn.
Look at this, baby. Look at that.
Cool. Everybody's got one of those, dude. Everybody's got one of those.
It's got the All-Star patch on it.
Yeah. You got Mitchie Marnie. You got Mitch Marner. All right, that's a good one. Cool.
Look at this bad boy.
Wasting fucking time. Come on, hurry up. Cool. I mean, that's cool. I mean, fine. You get free shit. You get free shit because you do shit for free. Good for you. Awesome. Gretzky. We know who he is. Yeah, Andy. Let's go. Waste my fucking time. Maddie, you might as well turn this off. I'm not. You do this one more time, I'm done. You do it one more time, I'm done. All right, very cool. Yeah.
Okay, so firstform.com/cam and strict, right, Cam? Firstform.com/cam and strict. That's the use that link, right? Right?
Yeah, man. Use the link, dude. We told you.
Firstform.com.
You showed me a bunch of jerseys that had nothing to do with.
Well, I like to listen. We'll do more of this where we'll give I'll just show you little things we have here and little knickknacks here in the office. Okay, we'll do more of that. Okay.
Oh yeah, cool.
Ooh.
Cool.
Ooh, driving across my house. Firstform and firstform.com, Cam, as we said. The Illinois Recovery Center,
we know.
IRC, baby. We're supposed to have dinner with Chrissy and everybody, man. Eric, so you got to set that up. I'm waiting for you to set that up and make it official. But
I didn't invite you.
Okay. Well, then if you guys are, that's okay. I don't have to go. Okay,
well, what are you gonna do? Hang out? You gonna hang out at Alvin Oak like you did last time and not eat anything?
That's not true.
You know what I mean? So we might as well just me and Chrissy go and Eric. You know what I mean?
You guys,
so we can enjoy a good meal and shoot the shit. We'll let you know how it went. Okay. We'll let you know how it went.
You guys just go.
No, of course you're going to go. I'll set it up. It's all good. I talked to Chrissy. I was going to go to, I said when I get back, I'm going to head out to Illinois Recovery Center, talk to some patients, give a little speech, do a little tour. Don't do that when we're talking, Andy. That's rude as fuck. Don't do that.
Ice? Yeah, sorry.
You're chewing goddamn ice like a rookie.
Yeah.
That's what rookies do on the radio. That's what rookies do on the radio when they come on the show for the first time. And they're eating their ice. Don't do that. Anyway, the Illinois Recovery Center. I got people texting me, dude, left and right, talking about just recovering and coming out of things. And they're asking me so many different questions. And they're on the verge of having to go back in and whatnot. So they know they have an open entry at Illinois Recovery Center. I don't give a shit where you live. This is a real deal. It's not going out to LA where you're hanging out and you're not getting work done. You get work done when you go to Illinois Recovery Center. They have everything lined up perfect for you. The beds are beautiful. It's very comfy, but you're going to go through a tough time. And you know exactly what you're going to go through, and they're going to be there for you. And I'm telling you, the best thing ever when you are an addict is to be around people that are addicts too, that have been through it before. Nothing like talking to a guy like Andy and be like, fuck Andy, and you're sitting there like, oh God, I'm so cold, I'm shivering, I'm sweating, I'm pissing out of my ass, and I'm like, Andy, I'm not doing good. And Andy's like, dude, let me tell you about Blade. Let me tell you about my road trip. No, I can't go anywhere. LA, you suck it up, man. Listen, I had a tough day too. I fell down when I walked out. I said, no, Andy. See, you don't understand. But I'm telling you, Christy and Eric Conley, they get it. They'll talk to you. They'll talk to you eye to eye. They'll tell you exactly what to do. Their insurance will help you. They'll sort all that out. You just got to give them a call and get in there. If you want to message me first, that's fine. I'll get you in contact with them as well. If you want to talk to me first, I'll explain what they have to offer. That's cool as well. I got all my DMs open. You got to check it out. Don't wait any longer, because the more you wait, the more of a hole you're digging yourself or your family member or your brother or your uncle or whatever the fuck it is. You got to get it done now.
Truer words had never been spoken. Don't wait for that. And there's always a bed available, man. Always a bed available.
Always.
And,
a nice, comfy bed.
but call this number, 800-743-0971. 800-743-0971. Give them a call today. And just talk to them. And if you're driving right now, you didn't write down the number, obviously you don't have time to go back and listen, maybe, just message one of us and we'll get you in touch with Chrissy or Eric.
IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com.
That's
IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com.
pretty easy too.
Just, you'll have everything there. Or message me and I'll get you an hold of them. Should I give people Chrissy's number? Just text
100%.
Chrissy. He's like, Chrissy's in San Diego. He's in San Diego with his awesome wife. His wife is so goddamn cool. Like, it's so, listen, all you guys, man, and Andy chirps me for me and Kate and whatnot. I've been through hell, and Kate helped me out of it. Like, if you have a wife that's a rock, that's awesome, that genuinely loves you like that and gets you, you could be so goddamn successful. You could crawl out of the fucking biggest hole ever, and you can maintain your success because you have that partner right there. I am telling you that right now. Just remember that. And Chrissy has that. Chrissy's in San Diego with his wife. They're doing their thing. They're doing this. And I'm like, Chrissy, this guy needs to talk. He's like, tell him to call me right now. He's away. He's probably eating. He's probably in a meeting with a bunch of important people in San Diego talking about who knows what. And he walks out of that meeting. He sits in the back of the restaurant and he talks to a guy for 40 minutes and gets it all set up. That's what he does. That's Illinois Recovery Center. Don't wait any longer.
IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com. 800-743-0971. SparksHockey.com, Cam.
Hell yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of kids in Chicago, man, when you go up to those trips with those kids and they're stepping on fucking concrete, they're doing this. They don't protect their skates. I told you, tell your kids to always have skate guards too. Always have skate guards and put your skates inside of your pants when you put them in the bag. That means they're protected. But kids don't do that. They're walking all over the fucking place. They're stepping on sticks. They're stepping on other skates. And all of a sudden you got to go to the goddamn hockey store and dipshit boy is fucking sharpening your kid's sticks or skates. And you're lucky he's even there. You might as well have a Sparks. Somebody needs a Sparks. Every team, if you're traveling, somebody needs to bring a Sparks in the back of their car. You can fit in the back of your car, and now you're good to go. You can sharpen skates at night. You can sharpen them early in the morning. You don't have to get up and find that hockey store that's not open. And dipshit Seth is there after he's killing animals the night before, sniffing underwear at his neighbor's house. Weirdo shit, looking up all kinds of fucking weird shit on the computer. Don't deal with that dumb fuck. Have your own Sparks, and you'll be good to go. And everybody's not going to be fucking toe picking and breaking their AC joint because their skates are
I couldn't have
up.
said it better myself, Cam. SparksHockey.com.
No, you couldn't have.
But don't go to Seth. Don't go to the hockey shop. Don't go to Seth. Get yourself a Sparks. Use the promo code Cam and Strick. It's going to save you more money than Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
It's going to save you money in the long run.
More money than Black Friday and
money.
Cyber Monday.
Stop. You need to figure out a different thing.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
You can't chirp my sayings.
It'll save you time. It'll save you time, and time is money. Time is money. You pay that off, boom, it's right there. You got it. You press a goddamn button. Now you're
Can I ask you something, though? If you have your skate guards on, putting them in your pants, I mean, is that really protecting them?
Sometimes they fall out. Every time I open my bag, my skate guard's off. One of them's off. And it's you don't have them in your bag. It's on the bottom. It's hitting things. You're traveling with it. Just
double protection. Okay, I like that.
That will protect it.
Again, sparkshockey.com. Use that promo code Cam
Never done
and
that.
Strick. It's going to save you more money than Black Friday and Cyber Monday, man. Honestly, you can get the new machine is incredible. It's the best investment you'll make. If you're a hockey parent, man, it's a no-brainer. I'm telling you. Somebody brought one on the trip too, Cam. That'll turn your hockey trip. I mean, that's when you know you have good parents on the team, when somebody brings a Sparks machine too.
Yeah.
Bellman and Bellman.com. Cam,
Yeah.
at Bellman, you get no what?
Swinging dicks.
Can't have them. Can't win with them.
A swinging dick. What a swinging dick is, if you know, when you go to a car dealership and you're there, maybe you're a woman, and she walks in like, I'm looking at this over here, and fucking 15 guys come out there swinging their dick around like, ooh, look, we got one here. They come out there and they start bragging about their football. They're like Andy, but big and have like a bunch of testosterone in them, right? And they're walking out there like, arr, and they go up to your wife, which you're not there, and they brag about how they intercepted a football at Parkway North, like Andy says, which is totally not true. Then they talk about you, like, I used to beat him up in high school. And your wife's just like, God, get the fuck away from me. Your breath stinks, And then they're just swinging their dick around. You don't want that. You don't have that dumb. And your wife could go there. Everybody's really sweet and nice. They let you do their thing. If you need help, they're there for you. If you have any questions, they'll answer it. They got great deals. Your credit score doesn't matter. They'll work with you. They are the real deal, and they don't have any swinging weirdo dicks that brag about themselves like Andy does. But they're like 6'4", and they're overweight, and they stink, and they fucking brag about bullshit. They got fucking BO. Coming out with fucking BO. Put some fucking deodorant on, weirdo.
They've got the Buick GMC on one side of the street, Cam on the other side. You know what they have? Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
Yeah.
And they'll give you
damn
flavor.
right. My Jeep was pretty good today. Stop. It's just so god awful. No one, they're not giving you any of that.
Sushi and flavored water. How bad is that? How bad do you want that salad right now?
Oh, I'm staring at this shit.
What else did you get? You got a salad and what? French fries?
Look at these.
Oh, the fish tacos. Oh,
look at that.
Go ahead and take a bite, dude.
I'm not going to. No, I don't do that in front of people, man. I don't do that.
All right,
I don't.
Listen. So go to Bellman.com, Bellman Automotive, Bellman.com, Buick GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Brian Boucher, dude, awesome interview, awesome guy, man. Spent a lot of great time with us. His boy Tyler's doing his thing, former first-round pick, Cam, playing with the Ottawa Senators, man. We're watching you too, Tyler. Tyler Boucher, big, strong power forward. Brian Boucher up now on the Cam and Strick podcast, baby. Fueled by First Form. The Cam and Strick podcast is brought to you by First Form, baby. Use our link and do it today. www.firstform.com/camandstrick.
Get jacked now. They are the real deal.
Get that protein, check out the apparel, eat those bars, and drink those energy drinks. Firstform.com/camandstrick.
Yeah.
Now on to the interview.
Don't sleep in. I actually skated today because I'm playing in an alumni game.
Oh, yeah.
A Flyers alumni game. So the injured guys there with the Flyers didn't have any goalies. So I went out there and hopped on, and that was demoralizing. The whole process was demoralizing. I just can't wait for this alumni game to be over with so I can throw my gear back in the shed and be done with it.
See, that's what sucks about being a goalie, though. Like, we do a fantasy camp with the Blues this weekend, too. And, like, if you're a forward, I could putt around and chirp and whatnot. But if you're a goalie and you get lit up like a Christmas tree, everybody remembers that because you're the goalie. You know what I mean? That's god-awful. But it's fun.
I thought he sucked when he played. Now it's reaffirmed he does suck.
And they're going to film you, too. There's going to be somebody that's going to post it and whatnot. It's all good.
Yeah.
Hey, and we just hit record and we just have conversation. Hey, so whose pads are you wearing?
Mine.
Oh, you still wear your old ones?
Oh, yeah. I got my they're Vaughn. My last set of pads that I used when I was playing in Switzerland at the end.
Switzerland.
How cool is that? Was
Oh,
that
my
cool?
God.
It was good. Yeah. It was short-lived, though. I thought I'd be there for the whole year. I only lasted 2 months, and they bought me out.
Oh, really?
In Switzerland?
Yeah.
What do they buy you out with? Like chocolate? Swiss chocolate?
Well, at first it was going to be nothing at first. They told me I could just go home, and I was like, what? I was like, no. I was like, I stayed there for 3.5 weeks to make sure I got paid. So I ended up getting 2/3 of my deal. They tried to cut me loose without paying me at all.
Oh
my agent told
God.
me, my agent told me, he said, do not leave. He goes, stay there, show up every day until they figure it out. So
who's your agent?
2/3.
Kurt Overhart? Was that your agent or no?
Bob Murray.
Bob, that's my guy.
Yeah.
I was just talking about him with Kevin Hayes, because, back in the day, that was Big Walt's guy, obviously, and Dougie Waite's guy. I used to love talking to Bobby.
Hey, but what if you don't? Okay, so what if they don't pay you? I know it's not Russia, but in Swiss, what do you do then if they don't pay you? You sue them?
I guess we didn't even go that far. He just told me to make sure you don't leave. I wasn't sure. I got the sense that they were going to crack. They're not they're not, I don't know how to say it. They're not the toughest people in the world. They're kind of they're kind of pushovers a little bit. If you hang in there a little bit, I think you can get your way.
I think the world knows that.
Come on, Ken. You ever been in the corner?
I think the world knows that. They're just we're honest. We don't want anything to do with anything. U.S., come in here.
Although Matt Zuccarello, man, he'll compete. Isn't he from...
He's Norway.
He's Norway. Who's from Swiss? Who's from Swiss?
Oh, Yossi and Niederreiter. Niederreiter plays hard. Yeah, he plays hard. Yeah.
Yeah, Yossi's cool, man.
I always thought it would be an amazing place to play.
Awesome.
Joe Thornton pumps it up all the time.
Yeah.
Switzerland. I think his wife is from Switzerland, isn't she?
Yeah. Davos. That place is amazing. It's in the mountains. It's got this wooden rink. That's where they play the Spengler Cup every Christmas. I was in Zug, which was a really nice town too. Beautiful lake, mountains all around. It was an awesome experience. I just wasn't prepared. I was going to retire, and my agent called me July 21st and said, "Hey, would you want to go play in Switzerland?" I was like, not really. He's like, well, it's good money and you got to be there in 1 week. I was like, what? I was like, I haven't been working out. I haven't been skating. So I said to them, they got to know that I need all of training camp to get ready, which is 6 to 7 weeks that they have training camp. And I went there and they were like, yeah, no problem. But they have this tournament that they do in the preseason. It's called the European Trophy. And I didn't know what it was. They're like, it's preseason, but it's the European Trophy. So it's kind of serious. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm out of shape. I haven't skated or done anything. They're like, yeah, no problem. And I think they got all nervous because my play was erratic and they decided to, they found this kid from Finland to come in at some point to take my job. So it was interesting.
How were your workouts though? As a goalie, when I was done, man, I had to skate. We're kind of right off the bat, keep going, keep my fucking, my hands and whatnot. You do the heavy weights at the beginning if you're a forward or whatever you got to do. What'd you do? Were you really concerned about your workouts or just your hand-eye coordination? No,
yeah, I for sure was. There was a time when I was, I got into weightlifting myself. I worked out. You may have known this guy, Charles Poliquin. I trained with him out of Phoenix.
Oh yeah,
that was Big Walt's guy too.
He was, and Al McInnes.
Yeah. And so I did that when I was in my Phoenix days. But I trained. But as I got later on in my career, I wanted to be on the ice a little bit more. Right. As we got older, I felt like the more time I took off the ice, the worse I felt coming back. So I tried to make sure I stayed on it. But that year I finished up, it was after a lockout. We had a half year off. I had shoulder surgery and I just was like, you know what, if an NHL deal comes, let me know. If it doesn't, then I'm going to be done. And he called with that deal in Switzerland. And that's why I chose to do it. It was good money. I mean, the kind of money that you can't turn down, it was too good of money because I wasn't going to make that kind of money doing anything else. So my wife was like, go ahead, go play and see how it goes. And turned out 2 months. For 2 months, I got 2/3 of it. So I guess it wasn't too bad a deal.
So you're lifting weights. Your son, was all bulked up, right? I mean, he lifts a lot of weights. He was kind of into lifting weights at a younger age too. Is that something you got him into? And is that the norm for goaltenders to kind of be in the weight room, or were you kind of maybe working out a little bit differently than maybe the traditional goalie?
Yeah, I think I probably thought outside the box a little bit, right? Because I was thinking of, I just wanted to try and get an edge back then. And that's how I got into it. And then I realized, you go to some places, and you know how it is, right? You go to a team and their strength coach doesn't like that guy's ideas of how you train. So you got to tailor it to them because you got the VO2 max and the Wingate test that you got to make sure you're ready for. So it evolved over the years. My kid, he kind of got into it just I didn't do it with him, but like there was a guy where we live here in Philly, and he just kind of was training kids in high school or in middle school and stuff like that. And he just started there, and I think he just took a liking to it and was pretty good at it. And I think he just saw, wow, that's pretty cool, and he got confidence from it. So yeah, he kind of that. I guess that's how he got into it. But I never trained with him. Man, if I had to train with him now, he'd kill me. So I wouldn't do it.
So if a parent came up to you right now and like, my kid's he wants to be a goalie, are you like, oh, cool, or are you like, yeah, like that's a tough avenue, you know, you only got 2 on a team, like what do you say to the parents when they say it to you?
Yeah, I try to, I'm like, ooh, you sure you want to do that? Like my kid ended up not being a goalie because my wife was like, please don't let him play goal. Like, I don't want to live through that again. It was tough on her with my career, but it is hard. There's only one net. And there was a kid that I coached. He played with my son growing up, and he's playing at ASU right now. And he's doing fantastic. This kid, TJ Semptenfelter. And he was like another son to me. And I always told him, there's only one net. I was like, so don't ever give the net up. Like, you want to play, you want that net all the time. You've got to be competitive, more competitive than I think most people realize, because if you're happy taking a back seat, if you're happy being a backup, you will be a backup. And if you're a backup, you're 1 step in, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So it is a pressure position. And it's not for everybody. And I would say, it might be more fun scoring goals. You might want to try that first. And if you don't like that, then you can always revert back. But I think being a goalie is not for everybody. That's for sure.
Man, I'm always curious, like, because people are so competitive. Like, how do you interact with your goaltending partner? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you be a good mentor if you're a veteran guy and a younger guy's coming in? You know he's trying to take your job. You're competing with him every single night, and it's like, you know, I watch these goalies from the Boston Bruins, and they're like hugging each other, like they genuinely like each other, you know. And I just wonder if that's like the norm, man, or if you're just like internally hoping that they play terrible so you get back in there.
Pull that groin.
I don't understand that whole Boston thing, to be honest with you. I mean, I had one goalie partner in my life that I just wanted to be around all the time. He was, and it's not that some of them I
Bryzgalov?
No, it wasn't Briz. This guy Neil Little, who I played with on the Philadelphia Phantoms.
Your rookie year, right? Or whatever.
Had the brawl.
Yeah,
baby.
Yeah, this guy he's aces. Like, he was the best guy in the world, and he still is the best guy to this day. He was a great teammate. Like, you never felt like you were competing with him when he was your partner. It was a weird, I don't know, but everybody else, I kind of, especially early in my career, now my rookie year in the NHL, like I had John Van Beesbroek. So I looked up to him. It was like, I was so happy to be in the NHL. It was all good. Then when Beezer left, it was like all of a sudden I was being challenged by Roman Czechmanek and Maxime Ouellet or whoever it was. So there was always competition coming from underneath. And Leighton at one point,
Bobrovsky.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I stepped on the ice with this Bobrovsky. He came over from Russia. We hopped on the ice in August. I was with Jeff Reese, the goalie coach, and Michael Leighton. And Bobrovsky was out there for 10 minutes. And I looked at Jeff Reese and I go, I'm in trouble.
You knew, huh?
Oh my God. In 10 minutes, I was like, this guy is amazing.
Really?
Amazing. Yeah. I'm like, where did you find this guy? And why was he never drafted? Like, what is the story behind this guy? And it turns out he's won a couple of Vezinas and he's having a Hall of Fame career. So maybe I had a talent. Maybe I had an eye for talent. I don't know. But I knew I was in trouble.
But once you talk to him, he starts talking about aliens and shit. And you're like, nah, he can't be that good.
Bryzgalov, yeah.
He can't be that. Shit.
Hey, you know, it's funny you say that because I remember it was a summer and Vasilevsky just had his rookie season. Like, no one really knew who he was, just came up. And I did something with Ben Bishop here in St. Louis, and he's like, I'm telling you, this guy's going to be the best goaltender in the world in a couple years. He's unbelievable. So it's like some of you guys, man, who have been around, right? I mean, you just know when you see it, especially, you know, not everybody knows that position, you know?
Hop on the ice with a guy and you can tell right away. I mean, it's like any player. Like, you know, players know if a guy's a good player or not. Like, it doesn't. It's I think when you remove yourself from the game and you get upstairs and maybe you're not around it every day, you got to look at it from a different lens and you got to pay attention. But if you're on the ice with that person, and you see what they're doing, you see how they move, and you just know. I knew Bob was going to be great, and I played 1 year with him, and then that's when they decided to go and get Bryzgalov, which probably was in hindsight was a mistake for Bob, and it ended up costing Bob his time here in Philadelphia. They could have had Bob for 15 years here in Philly if they would have played it right. But I think there was a level of impatience at that time, and that's why they went and got Briz.
What about a guy like Nabokov? You play with some good ones, man, Yeah,
I love Nabby. So that's what I mean. Like later on in my career, when I realized I was not going to be I was a first round pick. So my expectations of myself and what I thought of myself maybe was a little higher than what other people thought, but I was striving to be a number one. I wanted to be, my idol was Patrick Waugh growing up. I wanted to be him. And at some point you get to the point in your career where you realize that ain't going to happen. And so how do you evolve? How do you change your attitude to become more of a team guy, to be part of, to be a spoke in the wheel, to be a part of a group so that you can help the team win. And that's where my focus changed. And I had some great partners as I got on later on, like Nikolai Khabibulin. I was in Chicago for a brief time because Patrick O'Lean got hurt. So I went there on a tryout and played there for a little bit. Khabibulin was amazing. His work ethic was second to none. Loved Habby. Then I went to San Jose with Nabokov. Loved him. I was like, man, this guy, I played against him for so long in the minors and had so much respect for him. Then to play alongside of him on a great team was a lot of fun. Mika Kiprusoff. I was with Kipper. Man. We were all drafted the same year. I was with him for 3 months in Calgary. Mm-hmm. He might have been the most talented goalie I ever played with.
Really?
Oh, my God. This guy was amazing. He didn't even break a sweat. This guy was a freak. He would sit there in the locker room, not say a word. You thought that this guy was if you looked at him, you thought he looked like some dude that you'd see at a coffee shop that, was hacking darts or whatever. And then he'd hop on the ice and he'd play 70 games a year, flexible, quick, great glove, competes. He was amazing. I was so I got to play with a lot of different guys and see what they were all about, which I thought was pretty neat later on.
Is it weird? Well, is it weird though? When you're young and you're a goalie and the numbers are skewed at times. What if you have a bad team in front of you and they're sliding 2-on-1s down left and right? Yeah, you're making some big saves here and there, but you just have no chance sometimes with the people in front of you.
100%. I mean, the teams that I played on in Philly at the start of my career, we were good teams. They defended well. There was structure. We had an identity. We were considered to be a team that was going to go to the conference finals every year. Then I get traded to Phoenix, and it's a completely different place. Great place to live. Awesome, if you love nice weather and stuff like that. But our team was a mess. We had no structure. They weren't used to winning. They had no expectations to win. It was very hard. And as a goalie, you get in an environment like that when you've come from a place where you were protected and sheltered, and all you had to do was just make a save, right? You didn't have to make 15 10, grade A saves. Mm-hmm. It was way different. The pressure is way different. And there are guys that thrive in that environment, and there are guys that don't. And, I look back on some people's, for example, Cujo, for example, when he played in Edmonton and some of those teams in Toronto, I don't think they were as good, those teams, as they should have been without his heroics in goal. Then he goes to Detroit where they're expected to win, and maybe he doesn't get as many shots against, you know what I mean? It's just a different game for him. And he kind of struggled a little bit. He came to Phoenix at the end of his career. He thrived in it. He loved it. I was like, how the hell does this guy do it? Super talented, but just a different style of play that he was more accustomed to. And for me, I needed all the structure and all the help in the world that I could get.
It's funny you say that because Cujo, he was unreal here in St. Louis too.
Big time.
When he and that's but he faced a ton of shots. And you're right, man. People always said that about him. You go to Detroit, they're loaded. The way they play, you may not be as busy, and you're forced to have to make that huge save maybe when you hadn't seen a shot over the course of the last, several minutes in a game, so you got to be ready. You were drafted in the first round, though. You mentioned that in an era where not too many goaltenders were drafted in the first round. And It's like you were, I guess, a backup throughout your career, but you had some unbelievable moments, man. You had this incredible run that everyone knows about with your shutout streak. You had some great moments in the playoffs. So what kept you, you think, from being the guy for long stretches and being a long-term number one guy?
Between the years is what did it. I put way too much pressure on myself. I was too hard on myself. Philly was a tough place to play, especially early in my career and even though we had a structured environment, there's a lot of pressure here in Philly on goalies, and everybody wants the goaltender that's here, the starting goalie, to be the next Bernie Parent, and nobody's lived up to it for long stretches of time. And I think it just ate at me. You force it too much. And then, you leave a place like this when, looking back on it, you think the grass could be greener elsewhere, but it isn't. You go to another spot and like I said, I go to Phoenix. It's not as good a team. It's a totally different experience, a whole new set of rules. And, I think I just was not ready for it, So yeah, I could carry the ball a little bit. I drop it. I could carry it. I drop it, but I could never hang on to it long enough where I got paid the big bucks, So that's just the way it is, though. It's a hard league. I'm sure there's a lot of guys that have the same story as me in all different positions. That's why it's the greatest league in the world. It can humble you.
Well, now you get paid the big bucks anyway, so it doesn't matter. It all works out, baby. It all works out. So, hey, explain to us, though, because you were pre-social media for the most part, right? I mean, like, you're not getting on Twitter after a game, and you're like, oh, God, these Philly fans are on me. Explain how it is with the fans. Like, are they mean to you when you go out? Is it just when you walk through the runway? Is it the paper? You can ignore the paper, so explain it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. It was pre-social media, a lot easier than it is today. It was, it's sports radio, it's paper. You can feel it, you know it when the reporters are in the room. You can sense with the questions where they're going with it. Early on, I did read at times, and then I learned to get away from it and get myself isolated, and that helped me big time. You can't get yourself caught up with what everybody's saying and what they're thinking. You're not going to please everybody. And the one thing that I learned about playing in Philadelphia too, though, was and I think for the most part, the fans were awesome to me, to my face, they were. And I think to this day, I love living here. I love everything about Philadelphia. I love all the sports teams. I love the culture. I love the way that people think here. I think if you want to be in a spot where there's emotion and energy, this is the place to play. There might be other places, Boston, New York is busy because there's a lot going on, but Boston, Philly, very similar in that regard. I'm sure St. Louis is like that too. But, the fans were nice to me, and I think I just learned to get away from it, and that's what helped me. But today, I don't know how you do it. If you're coming up in today's world, you can't help but see it. I mean, someone's going to send you something that has somebody ripping you. So these kids that are growing up, it's a totally different world. But I think the goalie thing here in Philly's kind of died down a little bit because the expectations of the Flyers to win, it's not like it used to be like in the early 2000s. The team is kind of, it's dipped off a little bit. It's starting to come back right now, but there was probably an 8-year stretch there where I think fans just were like, they didn't expect this team to be a Stanley Cup contender. So I think that narrative of being a goalie graveyard died a little bit. And I also think Carter Hart came in and proved that he wasn't a goalie that was just going to be here one day and gone the next. He proved to be a good talent. So I think that noise is definitely quieted here in Philly.
Yeah, man. I wouldn't want to be that Eagles head coach, though, right now, man.
No, Sirianni's in trouble right now.
I mean, they're throwing popcorn on him, but we hear about the fans, like they throw batteries at you. I mean, people are bringing that up, like even with this like Cutter Gauthier situation. He better watch it when he comes back to Philly for the first time. They're going to throw batteries at him and stuff. It's like, I don't know, man. I mean, how do you think the fans will ever forget something like that? Like in Philly, they don't forget, do they?
No, they won't forget. And they may not forgive. Hey, look, JD Drew, same thing happened to him here in Philly. I think if you're just honest and you say why you don't want to be here, I think it'll still upset people, but they can get over it a little easier. But I think people are very territorial here in Philly. Like they don't understand why you don't want to be in Philly. What's the problem? What's wrong with us? So, I think they're always going to feel that way, and that's just the way it is. And if you're an athlete and, you leave Philly and you have that type of animosity towards you, I think you just have to deal with it. If you come here once a year, it's once a year, and I'm sure it's not that big a deal. It's not like it used to be. I don't think anybody's gonna be throwing back. I think all that stuff is that's craziness. That ain't gonna happen in this situation. But people are for sure. The people were rallying around this kid. They thought he was going to be part of the future. He's going to be a great NHLer. He's going to score 40 goals in this league annually. And
he's that good, huh? You know him from the U.S. Your son played with him at the U.S. program for a little bit?
No, they were a year different, but they played on that World Junior team together last year.
Yeah.
A talented kid. Like, he's a good player. Yeah, I mean, listen, things can change, but he certainly has potential to be that type of player. And I think the Flyer fans were excited about that. They're excited about him. They're excited about Matvei Michkov, who they drafted 7th overall last year.
Hell yeah.
They were, so I think, for the Flyers, when you trade a 5th overall pick, the one thing that Danny Briere and Keith Jones have said from the beginning was that they are going to be as transparent with their fans as they can. And they're not going to lie to them. And you got to tell the fans why you're trading a 5th overall pick. It could be a potential 40 goal scorer, right? You just got to be honest. So I think this will all die down at some point. But certainly things got a little wild here in Philly for a little bit there.
Were you shocked by that though? Like, when that went down and he was ignoring the organization, were you guys looking at each other like, what's going on here? Like, it was a bizarre situation as a whole, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was shocked because, I have a real love for this city, and I have a love for the Flyers. And I guess my point of view on it is a little bit biased in the sense that I've seen this place when it's at its best. And I know it hasn't been at its best for a while. So maybe people have different opinions of being a Flyer and what it's like to play here in Philadelphia. But I remember the good times and how awesome it is to play here in the springtime and the playoffs. And so, I was a little bit surprised, but everybody has their own feelings and thoughts. And, like I say, he's going to be a very good player, and Anaheim's getting a good player, but you got to keep in mind the Flyers got a good player in return in Jamie Drysdale. Yep. And to be honest with you, there was a need for a power play, right shooting quarterback on the Flyers power play. So this is a guy who's 21 years old. It's not like you picked up a 29-year-old that's got a $8 million times 8 contract that you're wondering, boy, what are we doing here? There's still a lot of room to grow with Jamie Drysdale. So they gave up a guy that they probably wanted and needed, but they also picked up a guy that they needed desperately.
Yeah, man. It's I look at a couple different ways too, because Philly is so emotional. First off, I love it. Like, all the players come out of nowhere. They're just like killing this kid.
Yeah,
They're just like, all the players are like that are working in broadcasting and different, areas around Philly. They're coming out and defending the organization. So I like that. There's some similarities to St. Louis from that standpoint, because everyone kind of rallies around and comes together. But Philly as an organization, the team, they haven't been that good for the last several years, and maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Maybe this gets the fans like all fired up and like, hell yeah, we're Philadelphia, man. This is Philadelphia. Nobody says no to us, So maybe this brings everyone together, Booch.
I totally agree. I think this team was inching back to the fans here slowly this year. Nobody expected them to be where they are right now. The interest was starting to creep back in. Danny Briere was a fan favorite. Keith Jones is a longtime broadcaster here who fans identified with and liked and enjoyed listening to. And they were honest from the beginning. And they said it was going to be a rebuild and it's going to be some hard days. And yet this team competed every single game. So the fans were like, whoa, this team's pretty fun to watch. And then you get somebody who doesn't want to be here and they rally around that. Now I think the interest in the Flyers is like, it's exploded.
Yeah.
Now we're halfway through the season. This team is on the inside the playoff picture. The Eagles are done. This is when it becomes a hockey town. And I think the Flyer fans are fired up, and this team just had a great road trip where they took 6 points in 3 games in 4 nights. And I do think that the whole trade has, it's gonna spark the interest for this Flyers team. No doubt about it. Whether it was intended or not intended, it's the reality.
Yeah, no, I get that. And we watched them the other day. They're here in St. Louis, and they work, man. They work their ass off. Do you know Torts well? Do you know him well? And like what's because I feel like every time we interview anybody that had Torts as a coach, they love him.
Yeah, I never played for him, but I worked with him at NHL Network and I worked with him at ESPN, so I got to know him on that side of it. Always enjoyed his company. Always enjoyed his thought process. I know for some people it's not their thing, but for me, that's the way I thought. You know, he's from Boston. I'm from Rhode Island. We kind of have this. I think we have the same. We look at the game through the same set of lenses. To be honest with you, and I appreciate the way he is. If I played for him, he probably would have said some things to me that would have probably hurt my feelings at the time, but they would have been honest. And I think anytime you have a person that's honest with you, I think you can respect that. You know, it might hurt at the beginning, but if you look in the mirror, if it's the truth and they want to get the most out of you, that's what you want from a coach. And he's not afraid to do it. He's not afraid to have hard conversations with players. And, you know, I think last year was about laying a foundation. This year was about having more of an open mind. And this team, as you mentioned, they work, but they also play very fast and they're not afraid to go. He wants his defense to go. And most people would think it's all about just blocking shots and playing defense. Yeah, there's an element of that, but there's also an element where he's had an open mind. He's giving these guys free rein to do what they want to do when they have the puck, and it's paid off.
Yeah, he's listen, I don't agree with everything he says or what he, you know, how combative he can be all the time, whatever. But, you know, he's always pretty friendly. Like in my own personal dealings with him, whenever I text him, he gets right back to me. He won't come on the podcast, Booch. You know, I'm trying. He's like, I don't do podcasts, but he's always so nice about it. And, you know, people I know who have coached with him say real positive things about him too. And I love how he came to Kevin Hayes' defense, man.
Yes.
Like, listen, and I've gotten to know Kevin pretty well here in a short period of time. You know, obviously he's got the relationship with the Tkachuks and all of that. St. Louis isn't hard to get to know guys. And I know that meant a lot to him. I know they had kind of communicated prior to that. And I don't know how many coaches in the league would actually like speak publicly to a reporter like that in a press conference. I mean, there aren't many that would do that, whether you like it or not. There's not many like him, you know, from that standpoint. No. What do you think of that whole, I mean, Kevin Hayes being brought into it, man? Like, he's like, what did I do, man? I'm here in St. Louis working for another team.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for Hazy. You know, I know it wasn't perfect here in Philly for him, and you know his experience is not the same experience that I had as a Flyer. So I'm sure there was some disappointment there. But yeah, he was probably like, "Why am I, you know, catching strays here? What did I do?" You know, just because you talk to a person, maybe play around a golf with them, doesn't mean you know that you should be implicated on anything. So I do like the fact that Torts came out and put that to bed. I think by him doing that, that ended that whole narrative, and it was the right thing. So, you know, Torts probably has his own way of doing things, but in that case, I thought he did the right thing. Now, calling the reporter out in the press conference, I mean, maybe there was a better way to do it. I guess you could argue.
Is there?
But maybe privately you do it, but I don't know. But you know what? It was effective, and like he has hard conversations with his players. He had a hard conversation with a reporter.
He runs the whole, he runs everything.
It was a big deal.
You know, he's like, now that reporter is going to get benched. You know, his ice time is going to be reduced.
He squashed it.
Hey, so Danny Briere, because he was a teammate of yours, right? Jonesy was a teammate of yours as well. I'm looking at all these like guys that you play with that are now managers in the league. I think you played with Rob Blake, right? Mike Greer. Like, who else did you play with, man? That's now like running teams.
All running teams. Yeah, that might be it.
Okay,
maybe. I mean, I played a World Juniors with Chris Drury, but that doesn't count.
Kind of counts.
Yeah, that counts.
Hey, but we'll count that. But I mean, and we've had Danny on here. You know, he was great. Obviously, before he became a general manager. Like, you're playing with these guys, man. I mean, you know them on a different level. You're like friends with them. You're teammates. That's completely different than how the fans would view it. Like, are you surprised that these guys are now like running NHL teams and working as managers in the NHL?
All of them that are managers, no, I'm not surprised at all. Like, I could have easily seen it in every case, from Mike Greer to Rob Blake to Danny Briere to Chris Drury, who I was only a brief time with Chris Drury. There's certain people that, you know, are born leaders, that are people that love the game, that want to be involved in the game and have a sharp mind when it comes to the game. So yeah, all those guys had the same qualities. And from the Flyers standpoint, like Keith Jones, the same thing. Like Keith Jones, he might be the smartest hockey guy I know, and maybe one of the hardest working. I mean, when he was at NBC working studio, I was amazed when I first went and did studio with him one time. He could watch 5 games at the same time and pick apart things in the game and build packages for the post game show. And I could only focus on one game. Like he could see things. Like it was amazing. This guy he's an absolute savant when it comes to the game.
Really?
And I'll tell you, him and Craig Berube, they used to watch games all the time with Dale Hunter when they played in Washington. Those guys, after games, they'd go home and maybe they drink a few beers, I guess. I don't know
They
what
were
they
probably
did.
eating wings and drinking beer.
He told us
Yeah.
that they did.
Oh yeah.
and they'd sit there and watch all the West Coast games. And those guys love hockey.
Yeah.
Love it. They eat it, they breathe it, they sleep it, everything. And so it's no surprise to me that all those guys are successful in their different roles in the game. And I respect that, because at the end of the day, you can't fake this game. If you don't have the passion and love for it, you ain't gonna last long.
Well, you got to pay attention too. It's not baseball. You know, you can go through a whole baseball game and just look at the stat sheet, box score, and be like, oh, this would happen.
All right, double's a double.
That was a double. You got a double. So, like, for you, though, like, what's the most difficult part? Like, maybe you got a bad hair day. You look like shit one time. Your brain's not working well. A goal happened. All of a sudden, the replay doesn't work. And you're like, okay, I got to break this down. And everybody sees what I'm – like, what's the toughest part of your job?
Yeah, I think sometimes the game can be fast for you. I think especially when the season starts back up, you get, when you're down between the benches, it can be, I think it's more difficult to analyze the game from there. You've got 2 benches to each side. It's a fast game. You don't see the game as well down there. You get a feel for the temperature of the game down there, which is one thing, but you don't see the plays develop. I think when you're up in the press box and you watch the game from up there, you can see how things are developing. It's easier to analyze, I think, from upstairs. So yeah, I mean, I think, sometimes it's technical issues. You don't want to throw those guys under the bus if you have an issue with the monitor or whatnot. But for me, it's if the game's going fast and you're not picking up on some things, those are tough nights for you.
They're telling you to break down a play that happened like 90 seconds ago that you're just like, I don't even remember.
The damn thing doesn't work.
Well, it's like I don't remember what just happened.
To be honest with you, I think to break it down immediately can be difficult because you need a couple of looks at it. So sometimes what you do is you go to break, and then in the break, you watch it 3-4 times, and now you can come out of break and revisit the goal, because sometimes it's really hard to see why something happened. Everybody can see what happened, you know what I mean? But why did it happen, and how can it be corrected? I think that's the goal of every analyst, to try and tell that to the fan as opposed to what happened. They all see what happened. That to me, I think, can be the most challenging thing.
And you know what, man? It's got to be challenging, too, when you've got a play-by-play partner if you don't have great chemistry. And you were kind of put in some awkward situations at times at ESPN. But how did you get out of ESPN and get to TNT? Was that difficult for you to do?
So what ended up happening was when Jonesy got the president's job with the Flyers, it opened up two spots, right? Yeah. And he wanted me to come to do the Flyers TV. And I had moved away from Philly. I went back home to Rhode Island for 2 years when I was working at ESPN. Had no thoughts of coming back to Philly. I'd kind of moved on. But when the Flyers job opened up, I was like, man, I'd like to get that job. But the Flyers games are primarily Tuesday, Thursday heavy. And those are the days that ESPN does their games. So there would have been a lot of conflicts. I would have missed a lot of Flyer games. So because it was an opening at TNT, that was on Wednesdays. That's where my agent thought, well, maybe we can see if we can find a way to get you traded to the other team. And in this way, you can do the Flyers and TNT and satisfy both situations. And really, that's what it boiled down to. Had I not gotten the Flyers job, or that wouldn't have been available, I would have never left ESPN. It was about trying to find a way to satisfy the Flyers gig, because this is something that I would love to have this job forever if I can, and they want me. Is to be with a team is so much fun. To have a rooting interest for a team is fun. When you do the national, it's like you don't care who wins. I know fans probably think we do, but I really don't care. Like, I couldn't even tell you who won 3 weeks ago if you asked me. Like, I take the headset off and I move on to the next one. But when you're with a team, it's fun again. Like to hop on the plane and see the guys happy after a win. It brings you back as a player. You're like, man. And also Danny and Jonesy they're friends and ex-teammates of mine. I want to see them do well. And I like that. You know, it feels good to be a part of that.
So is it the same agent you had when you played? And like, can't you just call somebody and be like, hey man, like, you know, I got a save named after me. The Boosh, like, give me a job. Like, look at me, my hair is perfect. Like, you need an agent and pay 3% too?
It's not the same agent. No, it's a different agent. And the percentage is a lot higher on this side of it than as hockey players. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You need an agent?
You need an agent? I'll be your agent. Actually, Andy will.
I should get into that and start negotiating broadcaster deals.
I needed an agent. Yeah, I did. Listen, I think we all do. We all need people to help us out, and he's been great. He's great advice. He's helped me out with tips in the business. I don't think I'd be where I am today without his help. So no, I'm happy to pay that fee every month.
Is it difficult to find out when you're in broadcasting what everybody else is making, to know that you're sliding in and you're being paid appropriately? Like, how do you find out?
I have no idea what other people make, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's not like when you're a player where salaries are open to the players and agents. Yeah, I have no idea. So I could be grossly underpaid after all.
They're all making $15 a year. You didn't know?
Hey, come on now. Yeah, exactly. So
no clue, but I'm having fun.
Hey, when did you start thinking about being a broadcaster?
I had so many people tell me when I was playing that I should think about it.
Were you good with the media and everything? Like, I mean,
I think so. I think in Philly, like you're forced to have to talk after every game, right? So, and I learned to be honest with them, and I took responsibility for things that were my fault and sometimes not my fault. I just felt like that was the way to do it. So I think I had a good rapport with the media here in Philly, and it was a tough place. And I think they were fair to me at the end of the day. Nobody ripped me in a way that, I didn't deserve it. Or, I think when I was good, they said it. When I wasn't, they said it. And I'm okay with that. So I had a good relationship with them. And I think just dealing with those guys all the time, I think it got me the training that I think I needed, to be able to break down a game. I could go over every play that happened almost in a game that I played, because you're so hyper-focused on every situation. You knew if a D-man made a bad pinch or a bad read and why it led to an odd man rush. I mean, you saw it developing from, 185 feet away.
So when you did make that save, I guess it was against Patrick Elias, and you kind of swerved around, you put your hand down. Do you work on that? And by the way, when your helmet flew off, you did have blonde hair and a goatee. Do you dye your hair now? Did you dye it then? I'm just curious.
I had the frosted tips back then. It was 2000, so we all had it. The goatee, I couldn't do the beard in the playoffs. It was too hot in the mask, so I went with the goatee. And no, didn't practice that save. That was just a bad play by me to poke check a guy going to his forehand. He was coming with a ton of speed, and it was the only thing that it was just like a natural reaction. I don't know how I did it. I blacked out, I guess. Like you miss, and the only thing you can do is flip over. And fortunately, he didn't get it up. And that was Keith Jones who never caught him too, by the way. I think he turned it over at the far blue line.
I saw it. I was watching that again today.
He did turn it over.
That was Hasek-like. Don't you do like a bunch of impressions?
No, it's the Booch.
Nice, it's the Booch. But the Hasek, he maybe he stole it from you after all these years. You do a Hasek, somebody said you do a Joe Thornton today too, man. So Jumbo.
I won't do the impersonations on podcasts. Just this for private. We'll have a couple beers. I'll do them for you.
Hey, as a broadcaster, it's almost. I just wonder, man. Like it's such a like guys have egos. You know how it goes, man. Like are guys who have been in the business, are they going out of their way to help you when you're just getting started? Like, what was your experience from that standpoint? Were guys good to you?
Really good. Really good. Eddie Olczyk was great to me. He's been a great teammate, a great friend, a great mentor. Keith Jones, huge help. Bill Clement early on, who was one of the best to ever do it.
Awesome. He joined us, man. He's awesome. Used to do commercials back in the day. Check him out on YouTube.
Great pipes on that guy. So yeah, I mean, guys were awesome to me. I got to be honest with you. So I was really fortunate. But yeah, I could see how that would be, right? I mean, it can be territorial. It's like goaltending. There's only so many jobs. So yeah, but fortunately for me, everybody has been great to me, and even the play-by-play guys that I've worked with. Before Dave Strader passed away, I got to work with him. He was amazing. Doc Emmerich was amazing to me. Just very helpful with tips. And Mike Tirico, the brief time that I worked with him at NBC, same thing, helped me out with a couple of tips. So people have been so good to me. John Forza and Kenny Albert, awesome people.
You're very fortunate from that standpoint. I mean, you're working with like
big dogs,
the big dogs, man. And I'm glad to hear that. What about a guy like Pierre McGuire? Like, would he help you? Because you kind of like were like had a similar gig, and then you got promoted to the top broadcasting pair.
So Pierre and I were never in the same spot because we did the same job just on different teams, right? So, but every time I was with Pierre, it was good. Like he and I, we got along and talked, and eventually, I mean, he ended up being in Ottawa for the 1 year that the Senators drafted my son. So, I think I don't know if Pierre is trying to get back into the game or not in broadcasting, but he even gave me some tips along the way when I first started, like just little tidbits. So but even though I never really worked with him, he wasn't afraid to reach out and just say, hey, here's a little pointer. So people, like I said, they were all great to me. I can't say enough about everybody that I worked with. I've never had any bad experiences.
So, I mean, you're watching hockey nonstop. You're in the game. You're in the mix. Like, what don't you like about the game right now? Is there anything specific that you're like, this has got to change?
Ooh. I don't know, man. I think you and I, we probably come from the same time, the same era. I just think there was a time where we had, I don't want to say people aren't paying their dues anymore. That might not be the right way to say it, but the system's been kind of flipped a little bit. Like before, you had to spend several years in the minors to get to the show, right? And I think it taught you valuable lessons along the way. And I feel like the only thing that I kind of disagree with maybe a little bit in today's game, and I understand why it's changed, like kids are force-fed right into the NHL immediately, right? And for the most part, a lot of them are paid right away, immediately, because of the way the salary cap is set up. I understand it. I get it. I don't even know if it's a system that can be fixed, but I kind of like the slow, steady progression. And I think I think everybody should play in the minors at some point. I think it's good for them. I know there's going to be outliers that don't do it, but to me, I just think riding the bus and being a part of that and seeing the difference in paychecks, it humbles you and it makes you more appreciative and respectful of, when you do get there, how good it is, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it forces you to respect the players that are playing in the American League too,
True.
and in terms of how they're grinding it out and whatnot. What's your approach in terms of broadcasting, in terms of how far you'll go from a criticism standpoint? Any players get pissed at you? You ever have to go up to a player and apologize and say, hey, listen, I said this, or have a player kind of seek you out and want to have a conversation?
No, not yet.
That's not your style, man. I know that.
No, I've tried to be mindful of that. Like I didn't, like, if someone was ripping me, I guess I didn't appreciate it. One thing for a newspaper guy to do it, I get it. I know why they do it, but I think there's so many different angles. Like if you mess up on a play, you mess up on a play. I try not to make it. I don't have like any personal, issues with any players in today's game. So it's not like I'm going to make it personal, but if you say a critical play of a player, I think there's a way you can say it without being a complete jerk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just burying the guy. I don't think you need to do that. You can point out the mistake, maybe point out what he should have done differently, and point out that, it happens. These things happen. But yeah, nobody's ever seeked me out. Not yet, at least. I mean, I'm sure at some point I'll piss somebody off. I did skate today, and Jamie Drysdale put one right off my melon, a one-timer. And I looked at him. I said, I don't think I ever said anything bad about you.
Does that piss you off though? Like even in practice and stuff like that, where guys just ding them right by your ear. You're like, God damn it! Like, what are you doing? Like, get out of here with that shit.
Remember Frank Bialowas?
Yeah. Shit kicker.
You know the animal. So when I was my first year in the minors, I played with him in Philly. He never shot the puck below my nipples, ever. He had no tape on his stick. He had a Gretzky Jofa lid undone, and he'd shoot it right by my neck all the time. And if I even looked, he would say, "What?" I was like, "Nothing. You got it, sir. You know, you can shoot as high as you want." But yeah, of course, it's annoying. You're trying to, the thing is, because you want to treat the shots the way you would in a game, right? And if you're in practice and you don't trust somebody, you're not sure where they're shooting it, you're just going to tend to stay on your feet just out of self-preservation. So in order to get the most out of your practice, you got to have a trust and a respect for one another. If guys are shooting at your head, you're not going to go down and take it off the throat. It's not fun.
No, you see goalies get pissed too in practice. They just leave the crease, especially at the end of practice when like half the team's off the ice and they're just taking one-timers and like right up high. It's like, oh my God. Man, that's crazy. You just mentioned Gretzky though. As a coach, how the guys react to him as a coach, man? That's got to be such a strange situation. You have the greatest player in the history of the game now as your coach. I mean, and you got Brett Hull there for a handful of games. Yeah. Grant Fuhr was there. You mentioned Cujo was there. Oh, tell me what it was like from your perspective.
It was wild, man. Like, you got the great one, on the ice with you, like it was. I actually thought he was going to play for the Coyotes at one point. When I first got to Phoenix, he was skating with us in August.
Did he still have it like back then?
Yeah. Like and he was on the treadmill running, and like I was like, my God, I was like, the great one's gonna play with me. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't believe it. And he'd been retired now for maybe 3 years. So, you could tell he was grinding to try and get back into shape. And Landon Wilson one day, remember Landon Wilson?
Yeah.
Big kid, just a big, thick guy. And I think Gretz cut across the middle and Landon ran into him. And that was the last day we saw Gretz.
Landon Wilson, what are you thinking? What is he thinking?
Is he alive now?
I think it was an accident. Willie had no idea. Like, it was a total accident, but that was the end of it. And I was like, oh, there that goes. And then a couple years later, Wayne ended up being the coach, which was just, I don't know, man, you just starstruck around a guy like that. You kidding me? Bigger than life. As a kid growing up, him, Lemieux, people like that were just, they were idols. And so it was a treat to be around him in the way I was. It just stunk that, we weren't good and I didn't play good and I had to get traded. So that kind of stunk.
Wait, so he was like, this isn't when he was coaching. Like he was on the treadmill thinking about having a comeback.
Yeah, this would have been like 02. Wow. 02. When did I get traded there? 02, yeah, in 2002. When we were still in the old jerseys that they were now wearing again now.
Yeah. The Kachinas.
Yeah, we were playing at America West Arena in downtown Phoenix, and the rumors were like, oh my God, he's going to come back and play. I was like, oh, this is unbelievable. He'd get behind the net in his office, and I'm like, oh my God, Gretz is in his office, saucing pucks. But Willie ran into him, and that was the end of that.
So, okay, when he was the coach, though, I feel like he's so cool. He's such a nice guy. He's so friendly to everybody. Like, I feel like you could go have a beer in the locker room afterwards, and he's probably not going to say anything to you. You bring booze on the play. Does he discipline anybody? Did he yell at anybody? I feel like he's such a just like a freelance kind of guy.
He was a great guy. I could sense that he was disappointed in players at times, for sure. Like, I think I got the sense that I think maybe it was probably mind-boggling to him that maybe some guys could make a 5-foot pass, like that probably was like, he's like, I don't understand how you can't do that. This is the greatest passer we've ever seen. I just remember he used to like to give it to the referees quite a bit. I used to find that comical in games that I wasn't playing. He'd go after the refs hard, and for the most part, they'd take it. Like they would. That was a great one that was screaming at them. So I found that to be comical, just to see how long of a leash he got. I don't think he ever got tossed from a game, but he was ruthless. He'd go right at them, right off the hop. And but yeah, he was good to the players. He was great. But like I said, I mean, for the team that we had, the amount of patience that you need to have for a group that he's probably so accustomed to being around winners and being on championship teams, it probably was very difficult for him, to not be able to get that thing turned around as quickly as he probably wanted to.
Well, you still got to figure it out down there too. So it's not all on him. They got some work to do down there.
Oh yeah.
Hey, did you play with Ray Emery?
I did.
How was he?
Yeah.
Like, I've played against him in juniors. I believe we fought one time. I mean, big, tough guy. Like, how was he as a person?
I liked Razor a lot. That was like at the time. So that was at the moment where I was coming back to Philly and I was okay with being a backup. Right. And he was a guy that was kind of trying to reclaim his career. He'd just come back from the KHL. And I think he was working on some things too, personally. And I think we were both in a place of like, boy, we're grateful to be given this second opportunity here in Philly. I liked Razor a lot. I felt so bad for him because that year he was dealing with hip problems and he couldn't figure it out. Like he didn't know what was going on. And it turns out that his hip, the bone was dying inside his socket. And he had to have, like his career was over. And he had to have like a bone transplant. Like they had to take bone from his ankle, inject it into his hip, and he was done. Like him coming back playing for the Blackhawks years later it's a miracle that he did. And I felt so bad for him because you could tell you could see the frustration on him because he'd finally gotten back to the NHL and he just wasn't 100% healthy. But I loved his passion. I loved his I love the fact that he was willing to stick up for teammates. I just know that he was going through a hard time that year that I played with him, and too bad. And it's sad that he's gone. I mean, terrible accident that happened to him, and and he ended up coming back to the Flyers later on in his career again, and did a good job playing with Steve Mason. So I like Razor a lot.
The Ovi goal, like when you looked up at because you probably didn't know like when it happened, like how exactly did he score? So you look at the jumbotron and he's on his back and whatever he's doing, and like you got Gretzky on the bench, like looking at it. Like, was that the greatest goal ever scored against you, or would you put another goal above that one? And how do you break that one down in general? Now, that's kind of like a badge of honor, by the way. It's Ovi, for him to score like that off.
Yeah, it wasn't Cam Jansen scoring.
Oh!
That wasn't gonna happen.
I mean, it is a badge of honor. To be honest, it turns out to be this guy could end up being the greatest goal scorer ever in hockey. The greatest goal scorer I ever played against. It was a 5-1 game. The anniversary was the other day too. It's the 18th anniversary. The only reason why I know that is because it's my son's birthday, and we had a third birthday party for him that evening. It was an afternoon game, and Washington stunk. We stunk, and they smoked us 6-1, and that was the sixth goal in the game. That goal, and my wife told me after the game, she goes, "Can you please just put a smile on your face on your face for your son's birthday?" And I said, "Yeah, I can do that." So, but I thought he was going to shoot the puck. He was coming down the right side. He rips the puck through D-men. So I was out because it's a one-on-one on Paul Mara. And I'm like, he's going to fire this through the D-man. That's what he's going to do, right? Instead, he puts it underneath his stick. He brings it over, and he moves from the right face-off circle all the way to the bottom of the other face-off circle. I tried to push and stay with him, but at some point, I was out of position because he kept sliding and sliding and sliding. And you're right, until I saw the replay. Once it went in, I was like, how the hell did that go in? And it was a 6th goal, so it was like, whatever, you're pissed off. And then I look at the scoreboard and I see how unbelievable the goal was. I was like, oh my God, that was incredible. And it turns out that I don't think there's ever been a better goal ever scored. And I see people rip me about it, like, oh, what the hell was goalie thinking there, this and that. I'm like,
what were you thinking?
Yeah, right. What were you thinking at that moment?
Gonna rip the puck through the D-man. That's what I was thinking.
So that's the greatest goal ever.
Yeah, I think so.
So like the next up there months where you like everywhere you went, you go to Canada, that's brought up on a highlight reel, and you're like, God damn it! And all the boys like, hey, there you are.
So, yeah, I still get every January 16th, Paul Mara sends me a text and says happy anniversary.
Yep. Does he? Yep. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. That's
shitty
awesome.
It's all good. Yeah, no shit.
I know. See, like we didn't even ask you about like the 5 overtime. I feel like you've commented on it so many times. But I will say, congrats, man. That's like that's arguably the most amazing accomplishment, honestly, that I can think of. And that you talk about records that'll never get broken. I don't ever see a goaltender having 5+ games of consecutive shutout hockey.
And I agree with you, and I won't say it like in a cocky way.
No, of course not.
I think it's just because the rule changes in the game, and now we have 3-on-3 OT. It just will never happen. We had ties back then. It'll never happen. The game is too open now, too much skill. For a guy to get 3 shutouts in a row is a major accomplishment in today's NHL.
How's Tyler doing? I know he's dealt with some injuries and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
last time I did an interview with you was during the World Juniors. You came on my radio show during the World Juniors, which was awesome, man. He scored some big goals in that tournament playing for Team USA. You played for Team USA in the World Juniors, so that had to be cool. Father-son moment. But obviously 10th overall pick for Ottawa, and he's finding his way as a professional player right now, right?
Yeah, he's had to deal with some injuries. It's been hard for him. He got injured at the World Juniors last year, shoulder, tried to rehab it, come back. He re-injured it, so we ended up getting it fixed, and that was the end of his season last year. And then before this season, had a lower body that popped right up before training camp and had a couple of re-aggravations. So he's been back now for 10 games playing in Belleville, and he's getting better. Like, the minutes are starting to creep up. Playing in more situations. He's missed a lot of time, and he just needs to play catch up and be patient. Hopefully the injuries are done with. He's had just a bad string of luck there for multiple years, to be honest with you. So, but I think in all of that, he's learning to dig deep. He's learning to be mentally tough. And there's some real positives that you can gain from dealing with adversity like he's faced. And I got to be honest with you, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the way he's hung in there. It's not easy. It's tough being in Canada. All eyes are on you, and he's fighting like heck. And literally,
he's fighting though, right? He's got like 30 plus penalty minutes.
He had a good little fight last game. He fought Cameron Gauntz from the Toronto Marlies. His line mate got hit by Gauntz, and Tyler jumped right in there and fought him. Did a good job. He threw a couple. He took a couple. He did a good job.
He's an older guy,
That's
right?
He's
an older guy, right? Tyler, the Gauntz guy, right?
He's 33.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, he was throwing some heat. So I was, I that's the thing that I love about him is that he's in that sense he understands that you don't need to tell him. He gets it, and I think he's a good teammate that way, and he's willing to do whatever it takes, and I'm proud of him. He's hanging in there. We'll see where it takes him. He's got a game tonight. He's in Utica. I can't wait to watch it. We'll be watching it on AHL.TV. There's a little plug for AHL.TV.
Yeah, nice.
And I'm just happy to be seeing him play. To be honest with you, when your kids are hurt and injured, sick or whatever, it sucks. And I'm just happy he's playing right now.
Good, man. Last thing for me, man. Speaking of World Juniors, USA won. It was a competitive tournament. Of course, Russia's not in the mix. A lot of Canadians aren't happy. I see them bitching left and right. But the U.S. guys are a little cocky at the end, and they're doing their thing to the Swedish fans and whatnot. What was your take on that whole tournament? And, of course, at the end of that, with the Americans kind of doing their thing, blowing kisses and whatnot.
I wouldn't want it any other way, right? I mean, you won. That's the time to showboat. Everybody loves an entertainer. I love Ric Flair, the nature boy. Like he would do it. So, look, the tournament's a great tournament. Anybody that can that gets to participate in that tournament, it's a great experience. And to represent your country is awesome. I was fortunate to do it twice. I got to see my son do it. And to see when I played in it, we finished second one year in Switzerland. And at that time, that was the best the U.S. had ever done. And the next year, they started the United States National Team Development Program. And from there, we've seen the success of USA Hockey. So it's come a long way. The way that they develop the players in the United States, the top players, and even the players that aren't the top players at a certain age group, they find other avenues for those kids to play in the USHL and find ways to get them involved in international tournaments. And I think for the overall good of development for U.S. players, it's very high right now. And great job by that team this year. David Carl, I thought, did an awesome job. I got to play with his brother Matt here in Philadelphia and in San Jose.
Yeah.
He's a rising stud in the college ranks, and I wouldn't be surprised if someday his name is mentioned for an NHL job. And you guys had a good prospect there too on the U.S. team. Snuggerud, man, that kid can shoot a puck. He was great as an 18-year-old in the tournament. Obviously, he's got the bloodlines. But yeah, it's a fun tournament. I'm glad they won. They were disappointed last year. And you know what? If Canada ain't happy, too bad.
Yeah. Hey, I'm curious though, like, cause you coached Tyler growing up, and I've got a kid who's coming up now, and Were you hard on him? Like, would you have changed anything in terms of how you raised the hockey part of, having a son, Not having a son, but you know what I'm saying, the hockey part of it.
Yeah. I was hard on him, and maybe at times too hard on him. And I did that because, I think you have this pressure too that people are looking to see if there's going to be nepotism towards your son and favoritism and whatnot. And I tried to make sure that I was fair. Like I wouldn't even put him on the first power play on teams that I coached. And I was hard. I mean, if I probably could go back in time, maybe I wouldn't have been as hard. I think it's important to instill confidence in the kids. And, I did it because I wanted to prove that if I was hard to him, I could be hard on anybody else because that's just the way I was raised. But I don't know. I look back on it. Those years that you have with them, driving in the car and being with them, it goes by so fast. And there are days when I miss those days. I wish I was still doing it, going to tournaments, and because honestly, it went by in a blink of an eye. And those are special times that you get to spend with either your daughter or your son doing that. So you'd have to ask him that question. I've asked him the question, and he's always told me, he's like, no, he's like, you weren't too hard, Dad. He goes, and he says he wouldn't want it any other way. But I think maybe at times I was probably, the competitive guy was a little bit much at times.
Yeah. See, Cam thinks I'm crazy because
you are.
I'm taking my kid he's got a tournament this weekend. I'm going to drive him there Thursday, watch his games Friday, and then I'm going to fly back and work the Blues game Saturday. And
then fly back up there and drive a car back.
No. We'll see.
No.
Hey, we'll see.
We're speaking of blue-collar people here.
We'll see how they do in the tournament. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But
I probably would have done the same thing.
Thank you.
Honestly.
Thank you.
Because look, I mean, you don't get to see them play forever, right?
He's 7.
And like I said, now my kid's playing pro, and when he's hurt, he's not playing. I'm miserable.
Yeah.
Like I just want to see him play.
I know.
That's
I get you.
And you know what? So I'm missing the Blues Hall of Fame on Friday night, and Big Walt, who's going in, he said, if I see you Friday night, he's like, I'm gonna kill you. He said, you better go to your kid's game.
I get the sense that he didn't miss many of the Matthew and Brady's.
No, it's funny because I was coaching in the same program, like I was coaching with the 18s and Matthew was with the 16s, and so we'd always go at the same trips, and Matthew or Big Walt, like he'd be injured or whatever. He took a Oshie shot to the face and he lost all his teeth and he was out for a while. So he didn't miss any games that year. And he'd be like, hey, don't say anything that I'm here. I don't know if I'm supposed to be here right now.
No one would care. No one would care.
I'm like, Walt, you can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever the hell you want, big dog.
Exactly. So, hey, man, all the best to you. Thanks for doing this.
You're great at what you do. We love watching you, man. We do.
Thank you.
You're awesome at what you do.
I appreciate
and your hair looks good, by the way, and we're jealous of that, just so you know. Damn
Thanks,
good.
Guys.
Damn good.
Thanks.
Yeah, so enjoy the night off. Enjoy watching your kid tonight, too. That's
good
awesome.
Good luck with everything, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks
See you, Booshy. See you, buddy.
All right. Later.
The Chemistry Podcast is brought to you by Bellman. Behlmann. Bellman Automotive. Located where?
Troy,
Missouri. Buick GMC on one side of the street. Right on the other side, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the winter. That was Brian Boucher, Cam.
What a handsome, smart man, and he's damn good at what he does.
Handsome, smart.
He's damn good at what he does.
I was wondering how he got out of the ESPN deal. It's always interesting. I kind of thought that maybe that'd be a good career for me, Cam, if I just became a power agent for high-level broadcasters. Like, not just on the hockey side. You know these broadcasters, man, like Tony Romo's making like $20+ million a year, whatever. Jim Nantz making millions. Stephen A. Smith, millions. Somebody at the door?
I'm getting my chew, baby.
So I figured.
I can't wait to lay in this bed. I can't wait to just lay in this bed. Oops. I just can't wait. That's a good looking bed right there. I'm just going to lay.
Look.
I got a good view. This is a nice hotel. Fuck that.
Okay.
Nice hotel. Nice. And he shows his fucking feet. What is wrong with you?
I'm just lounging, dude.
You are out of touch, though. You're not self-aware, I think.
I'm just lounging today.
I think you need to work on that.
I'm lounging.
I think you're not self-aware.
I don't want to see your feet, dude, right now. I don't know what's going on with them.
I'm not going to show you my feet. I'm not going to show you.
Hey, but I am.
It was already on the internet today.
Yes, they were. You didn't have your shoes on the plane. I saw that.
I know. The picture looked goofy. My hair looked terrible. Somebody's like, Jesus, Cam, cut the cord and shave your head. I'm like, I know.
Cam,
But it's all good. It looks pretty
I
good
don't
right now.
want anyone on the plane next to me taking their shoes off, dude.
I don't sit next to anybody. I got my own seat. So go fuck yourself.
I'm just saying, if you had somebody next to you, you can't do that.
Well, I don't.
If you did, you can't do that. So
Yeah, you can. You can take
so
your shoes
would you
off.
do it?
I used to wear my underwear with no shirt on back in a plane and fucking playing cards
Okay.
with the boys.
Do you like
fuck.
playing cards? You want to get back in those card games?
No, I can't have the concentration for it anymore. We used to play Schnarples and 7 up, 7 down, sometimes 13 up, 13 down, meaning you are every single hand, you need to calculate, you're doing math, you're doing this, you're on it for hours and hours and hours. I'd rather play poker where I could take hands up, fucking chill, like regroup, look at my phone, blah, 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 blah. But these guys are just boom, cards, bam, bam, always calculate. It wears you out. And after a while, I'm like, get me out of here. I'm fucking done.
But Boucher, he had some great moments, dude, in the Flyers uniform. All those Flyers stick together, dude.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
all stick together. I kind of like that. It's like a family there, you know?
I say that Blues alumni do the same thing too. You know, I say we do. Like we're all together. You know what I mean? That's why I love hanging out with all the alumni in St. Louis. We're all
I've
connected
said that
with each
before.
other. We all hang
I've
out.
said that before, that there's some similarities.
You know how many guys texted me afterwards when I got sick? Fucking Gary Unger calls me. He's like, "You okay? Cameron, you okay?" I go, "Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm good." He's like, "Really worried about me?" Gary Unger. Like guys like that, like we all have it's a tight knit. I know it's such a cliche thing, but I swear to God, even like Jamie Rivers is my older brother on these trips. Jamie is, and he's been doing this for a little bit now. He knows the game. I called him like, "Fuck, what do I wear? What do I bring?" Like he just, anytime I need something like, "Jamie, what do I got?" Like he's there for me, man, and I love it. Everybody sticks together, dude, and it's a cool thing we got here in St. Louis. You know, the Hall of Fame with Walt and Brett Hall. They did the Blues Hall of Fame night the other night. Andy and I both missed it. I was sick. Andy was up in Chicago. He had to go see his kid, which is rightfully so, man. I understand that part. But Hawley and Walt got inducted. Pablo Demetriou got inducted, and the goalie, what's his name?
Mike
Liut, man. The agent. Mike Liut.
All-time
Mike Liut was
winningest
cool as hell too.
And listen, I got to talk to all of them the next night on the game, including Maya Demetriou, dude, the widow of Pavel.
Yes.
Just a complete sweetheart, man. It's so nice. Her kids are amazing. That was incredible to have them back here. And then I did something on the Blues YouTube channel, if you want to check that out, with Mike Liut and Bernie Fedorko afterwards. They played in the same.
Pretty good. Pretty good
Did you
stuff.
watch that? Oh, did you?
Yeah. I watched
did you really
everything.
watch that?
Yep.
Oh, I give you a lot of credit for watching that.
I just wanted to know what's going on.
As we're talking to Mike Liu, Jordan Bennington comes into the interview. Did you see that?
He's cool.
Did you see that part? He just joined us in the interview.
My headphones are about to.
Were you hungover?
though.
Is that why you were throwing up at the alumni game?
We already went over this.
Just
Dude.
making sure.
I would have to drink. No. I would have to drink a barrel of Everclear for me to be that sick.
You don't.
Maybe I'd
You
still
don't
be able to go
ever
out there
get
for
like sick from alcohol. Yeah.
No, dude. Not when you drink like I do, which is not good.
Okay.
You just feel consistently
I want
bad.
you to summarize the Brian Boucher interview. Talk to him. Talk to the people, and thank him.
I think Brian Boucher is a smart. Thank you, Boosh. Okay, like Jesus, like okay, awesome guy, a very smart man. He's played with a lot of guys. He's in the mix right now, and he's really good at what he. Like we're in the same mix a little bit. Like I watch what he does. I'm like, God Almighty, I got a lot of work to do. This guy is smooth. He is concise. He knows how to see. He knows everybody's name. He knows everybody's number. He doesn't mess up. He doesn't mess up much at all. He's got a gift, and he's really, really solid at it. And I appreciate it, man. And he's down to earth, and he's humble too. Like he is. Like he's a humble guy. If I was that handsome, I'd be fucking swinging my dick around like guys at a fucking weirdo car dealership, but he doesn't do that. And I appreciate that. You can learn a lot from Brian Boucher. I, as a 10-year veteran in the NHL, would learn things from what he says.
Doubt.
That's when you know you're good.
That's good. And he did. He gave us a compliment afterwards too, man. Just said, you guys just really do your research and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he was just,
of course.
He loved the conversation. You know what I mean? And I did too, man.
We gotta get
having him on. So you can watch it on YouTube. You can check it out on the podcast app. You know, wherever you listen to your podcast. So you can listen or you can watch. Either way, that we give you the options here on the Cam and Strick podcast, episode number 274. Cam and Strick podcast, as always, Cam, is brought to you by First Form. I showed you all my First Form goodies that I keep close to me. Always got to keep them close nearby. Firstform.com/Cam and Strick, baby. Use that link. Use it today. And get yourself back on track. How you doing, Cam, with the New Year's challenge, by the way? You doing all right?
Well, I got sick, so I lost a bunch of weight.
You got to make sure you're doing your getting your steps in and your nutrition, your workouts, all of that.
I know.
Man. The First Form app is absolutely incredible. We'll give a shout out to First Form Nick. Once again, he won the Hart Trophy for the Core Values Award for First Form, man. It's a big deal. They have a big gala. I want to go to it next year. Get all dressed up and go to the gala.
I know. Let's go
to it next year. Let's go to it next year. Firstform.com/Cam and Strick. Use that link and do it today. The Illinois Recovery Center, Cam.
Well, we got to earn it.
Oh, yes, you do. You got to earn it.
Yeah, you got to earn it.
I didn't say we're going to go there and win the Hart. We're just going to go to the event.
No, but you got to earn to even be a part of it, dude. We're not there yet. We got work to do. You need to calm down a little bit. You think you're here. But, like, if I'm here and you think you're here, you're way off.
Hey.
Okay, we're both here.
This is what you've done.
Just remember that. You think you're here, and I'm here. We're more balanced. Just remember
this is what you've done to me, dude. You're making us do this podcast so late at night. I'm just delirious right now. So if I'm not making sense, I apologize. Next week, we'll get back on track, and we'll be in studio, the Half Coast Studios, with Maddie and everybody else. We hope everybody's safe out there who's driving through the ice today, man. Be careful. Illinois Recovery Center, Cam. IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com, the IRC, 800-743-0971. If you need help, you need someone to talk to. From those who have been there before, then you reach out to Chrissy and you reach out to Eric and do it today. 800-743-0971.
Damn right. Reach out to me. I'll get you in touch with those guys. They're going to help you. Get on it now.
And if you can't get a hold of Cam, if he's not getting back to you, then you can reach out to me and I can help you as well with that. Right, Cam?
Yeah.
SparksHockey.com. Use the promo code Cam and Strick. It's going to save you a bunch of money, man. Do it today. Do not have your tournament or anything else ruined by not having good edges, dude. I mean, honestly, it'll just completely...
It'll fuck your whole tournament.
Wasting money, time. All of that.
Wasting fucking money. Your kids, you're going to be pissed at your kid. He's flopping all over the place because he can't stand up because his skates are fucked up. Don't let that happen. And don't let Seth do it either because he might steal your wallet.
Oh, my. He does.
And
he does
who
that,
knows
too.
Yes. He's killing animals. He's not going to steal your wallet. God. Get out of here. And he's probably, come on in, Seth. Here's my family. Would you like to look around? Like, no. Get him away
Seth,
from
do you mind watching my kids for a few minutes while I run out?
Remember Andy's, exactly. Remember Andy's like, I'll bring anybody to my house. Like, no, you won't. No, you won't. Yeah, these two big boys want to come in your house. They're cold. They're going to take a dump, and they're hungry. Bring them in, Andy. Bring them in. Ivy's got our friends. Jesus.
Oh, man. SparksHockey.com. Use that promo code Cam and Strick. Bellman.com, Bellman Automotive. Cam, we got Buick GMC on one side of the street. On the other side, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. And that Jeep, how's it doing in the snow for you and that icy weather?
Well, fuck. I drove fucking 400 miles today in the ice. Did pretty damn good. I'm here in Calgary, aren't I? I'm in a pretty dang good mood. It worked out, didn't it?
You've been a little aggressive on this podcast. You've been
Well, you annoyed me off the bat with this stupid ass bullshit off the bat.
About
you know
what?
What the fuck
About
you're
what?
doing? You try to get me to say something dumb, and then when somebody gets mad at me, which 95% of people I think it's funny, But and then you'll read it and you'll be like, oh, damn, what are you doing? And I'm like, he set me
About
up.
what?
I'm already pissy, and he started talking about WNBA.
Yeah, be careful what you say about that.
3 hours, and then we're talking WNBA
Hey,
after
I'm
that.
just
Like,
saying.
come on.
Well, she just had. It's the biggest
God
sports
damn.
story going besides Kelsey
It's
and
a
Travis.
joke. It's
Travis
a joke.
Kelsey and Taylor Swift.
It's a joke.
Big shout out to Taylor.
Get her jersey. Get her jersey back there. Put her jersey back there.
I'm
Get Griner's
pissed that the
jersey back
Bills
there.
couldn't win, man.
They deserve more money.
Jesus. Who does? Who deserves more money?
Griner.
Oh yeah.
Griner. She deserves more money.
You got to earn.
They all do. They need to get paid like the NBA
You got to
players.
earn it. I don't know. I didn't say that. I didn't say
Mhm.
that. Equal pay. Equal pay. SparksHockey.com.
Yeah, equal. We need equal
And
pay.
Bellman.com. Bellman Automotive Cam. At Bellman, you get no what?
Swinging dicks, dude. None
But
of
you
that
get
bullshit.
sushi and
You don't get
flavored
swinging
water.
dicks.
You know you get all that. They take care of you like you've never seen before. Out there in Troy, Missouri, Cam. Where's it located?
Troy.
Troy, Missouri. Buick GMC, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Right across the street from each other, man. Everyone gets approved. Everyone gets, everyone walks away. If you have a used car and you're like, nobody wants it, they want it. They'll buy it from you on the spot, man. So make sure you take advantage of that. All right, we hope Maddie's okay. I know you're so hungry, dude. You got to go eat those. We hope Maddie's okay. He fell on the ice today. So we hope that he's okay. And
Welcome to our world, Maddie. Well, my world.
you fall on the ice? Like walking? Did you fall today?
Well, I played hockey my whole life. You know, when you play professional hockey, you fall on the ice.
Did you
You
play?
know what I mean? So
Okay.
I did, Andy. I did. Remember?
Your hands are taking up the whole screen, man. It's like a big claw.
God.
Hey, listen, dude.
Rawr.
Have the best time this week, and have
I
fun.
will.
Do a great job on the radio.
It's work.
We'll be
I will.
we'll be listening, although it's very late. No one's really good. I mean, I don't know how many people will be staying up listening very, very, very late. You know, but
My daddy will. That's all. Kate and my daddy will.
yeah,
That's all.
and the puppies. You know, so. And is
I know, my
Kate
baby.
feeding the cat Boo Boo, or is she? You know, do we have to worry about that?
Oh yeah. No. Boo Boo's okay. She's doing
If you need me
dang
to
good.
check on
That's
Kate or
just
do
Boo Boo.
anything like that, just let me know, and I can always swing down there and just make sure everything's okay.
Oh, Kate, hold your breath. Andy's coming over. I would have Andy come over. Andy's the kind of guy that just like come over. You're more than welcome to stay with my wife.
Yeah.
It's all good. No one's worried about it. But he ain't going out there to do it.
No, I'm not.
Kate will be like, I'm free. Andy, help me. I'm freezing. Well, I can't do it. I gotta go to. I got phone calls to make. All right, homies. See you guys.